host.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What
Take
is
it over.
up, everybody? Thank you for your patience as we come on this show. Um, we are the Melanated Council. If you've been here before, you know the vibes. The three of
Mm-hmm.
us, me, lovely co-host L, and perfect. We got Ron. This
Yeah.
Yeah.
is so cool. And I get to run this show. Obviously, we all are running the show, but I am here because last week, if you were at the end of last week's stream, oh yeah, let me actually give this little descriptor first. We here Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. PST, and as Elle loves to say, whatever time you're in, that's the time that we go live for other
Exactly.
time zones. So go ahead and do that math. Um, yes. So last week was fun. We talked about microchips and we had the great Gil Dormis on, and because this is May and this is our 2 year anniversary um for when we created this channel, May 2020, the end of May, which is perfect because we could lead up to it all month. um we have been taking topics from you all, our viewers, because what is the stream without an audience? So last week, the microchip topic was something that Gil had suggested. Other people chipped in. Well, that was not pun intended, but other people chipped in too with that topic. And then Gil joined. So this week, no explicit special guest, but the topic, which is Demon Time with Toby the Smooth, was suggested basically by consensus in the live chat. So I will do my best to talk about the demon time and everything that comes with that.
Mm.
That might be like an extension of some of these. I'm not going to say red pill explicitly, but things that are related to the arts. I call them the dark arts.
Okay.
Mm. There we go.
I was
There
about
we
to,
go.
I was gonna post in Discord and be like, "Who wants to talk about the dark arts of being in the streets and picking up people up?" Because despite everything that I
Oh
just
man.
troll about, it's not exactly my lifestyle. But before we go deep into the topic, let's talk about just kind of chilling. What happened in the past weekend for everyone? In the past week or whatever. How is people's lives coming up? How are people's lives? What's going on with people?
um. Yeah. No, thanks for asking. So, fun fact, and I forgot to even tell you guys this, but like, I I got tested positive for COVID like 2 weeks ago.
Mm.
Oh,
I know. So 2 weeks ago to this day, whatever day that was, like the fourth or something, I don't know, third. And I didn't know I had it. I got it at this wedding. I made out with this guy, and I shouldn't have, because that's most likely where I got it from. And we're all family here. And, we're talking about demon time. So
speaking of demon time.
exactly. So so I was when I was on the stream, I didn't know until like my friend whose wedding it was, like she was telling me like, oh, people were testing positive, and like I had like a runny nose and I was like congested, and I was just like, oh, whatever, It's like I didn't know, I didn't know, I didn't think it was anything really, and then yeah, that Wednesday evening, I tested myself and it came up positive. I was like, holy shit! It came up positive fast too. I was just like, wow,
Wow.
positive,
Oh,
like
it's a double positive.
right.
Sheesh.
So I was like,
Dang,
oh,
Al.
I was like, well, fuck me, and I was like ready to like start working back out with my trainer, and I was like, yo, dude, I can't, because like I remember my wrist was injured. It still is, but it's not as bad. It's like mostly fine.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I was like at that time, I was like, okay, I'm ready. Um, and he was sick with something. I don't know. He's still sick now. I think he's like on antibiotics for something. So he couldn't even. he couldn't even train me. He was like, yeah, I'm on antibiotics. And I was like, okay, understandable. So yeah, I ended up getting like a fever for a day. I didn't test myself. I mean, not test. I didn't like check my temperature. Because I was just like, I was feeling like a little fever. It's just like a low grade fever. I had that for like a day. I tested myself again that Saturday, which was like the 7th, which was like the day before Mother's Day, because like I already made like reservations for like a restaurant for the 8th for my mom. And I came back negative. I was like, okay, cool, because I was actually feeling really well on Saturday. But like my mom was like, okay, to be precautious, to be cautious, let's just like, not me. I was like, okay, that's fine. So yeah. So like, yeah, then like on the following Tuesday, I had tested positive again. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Then, yeah, just the other day, I think it was like Thursday or Friday, I tested negative. And I was like, all right, cool. And yeah, then not the most like, what's it called, responsible thing, but I did go out. We went, like me and my friends went out to a place that's like outside at least. So I did that. I did not make out with anybody.
Man.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to pass on the antibodies. Like, you got to give the cure. Come on now.
Wait, what?
I said you got to pass on the antibodies. Like,
no.
No.
But like, everyone's is fine. So apparently, I'm not like a fucking doctor. But apparently, after 10 days, you are no longer contagious. But so no, I did not make out with anybody, Chad. I did not make out. Yeah, thanks, Liz. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I didn't know either.
Oh, that was the Roe v. Wade stream too. Oof, that's a taxing one. To like.
Oh goodness. Fuck. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so no, I did not know. I guess I was just sick of all the bullshit. Last week, because we didn't I think because we started late, we didn't have like this little weekend chat, so I didn't mention it. I was like, oh yeah, okay, hey guys, I have COVID.
Yeah.
But no, like it wasn't like crazy. Like I was like I was still like I was still working like every day, unfortunately. I was like, I felt like a little tired, but that could just be from life, but
yeah.
But no, I didn't get like, I got like a runny nose, I had like sore throat. That's why it's like that could be anything. I thought like I was back in my college years, where after I made out with somebody new, I get a sore throat.
Yeah, you picked the right time for today.
Exactly. So I was like, oh, okay, this is probably that. 2 days later, I started feeling the symptoms.
Yeah.
That's weird. But no, it was COVID. I assume I got it from him because it's like running.
Do you were you able to contact trace it? I don't know if you like knew the person before, or you had the contact with them to be like, hey, buddy, did you have
You know what's funny? I think he recently added me on LinkedIn.
Oh god.
Yeah.
LinkedIn DMs. Oh, this is so great. Keep this coming, because not to like rejoice in something that ended up badly for you, but this is like too ironic.
Yeah. No, he didn't DM me. He just like added me on LinkedIn. So, but what's funny, speaking of LinkedIn though, this guy on Hinge liked me, and on Hinge you can like write like a comment in addition to the like. So he said, he was like, hey, you know, like I added you on LinkedIn and I saw that you looked at my profile on LinkedIn, but you didn't add me back. I think it's like you're very beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And I was like sitting there thinking, like, if I didn't, because I usually just add anybody on LinkedIn. And I was like, if I didn't add him on LinkedIn, that must mean like, I guess like I did not feel like he could help me at all in my career. It's like, yeah, no, I don't know. Like, well, that's like really weird too. It's like, why do you remember that? Like, I don't know. That's just like, that's really fucking weird. I don't know. Because whenever I'm on LinkedIn, like, if we have like, you know, it was like a second degree of separation. So like you have like a mutual friend. You know, like I add them, you know, whatever. Like I add people who we were at the same company. I add them, blah, blah, blah. Like I don't really like look at it too much. Maybe it's like, okay, they're in like relatively the same field as me, or they're in a field that I'm interested in at least. Or they're like a recruiter, whatever. But like, if I actually looked at your profile and I was just like, no, you can't help me at all, that's very rare. It's like, oh, sorry to this man.
Yes.
Encounters of the L kind. But so I did want to mention real quick, and this is when I thought I was negative because I had tested negative. Ooh, okay.
Okay, Toby, I see you.
Yeah. LinkedIn is where the plug is at, the promotion plug. Exactly. Yeah. So when I thought I was negative, which was like Mother's Day, and I went to the grocery store because I had like nothing in my house. And I was like, okay, let me just go in and come out. I was thinking, I was like, you know what? This is kind of like the afternoonish. No one's really gonna be at the grocery store. Like I'm sure everyone is like at home or out to brunch or something with like their mom. You know, either they're making dinner or something, or they want to. I don't think they'd be at the grocery store. So I was wrong. That's when men go grocery shopping. It seems like it was just a ton of men in there. It was clearly people's sons, and they were fathers, and like I don't want to stereotype. It just seemed like it was like their first time in a grocery store. That's just how they were like looking and like just taking long in the aisles. I'm like, dude, do you not? How do you not know what you're making right now? How did you not know this was Mother's Day?
Wow.
Like I can understand if you're just like, oh, I forgot this ingredient. My bad. Let me go get that real quick. It's like, okay. But it was like men doing like full ass grocery shopping today. And I was like, what time was this? This was, I want to say it was in the afternoon. I want to say it was like in the afternoon. I don't know if it was like late afternoon or I can't remember. I remember I wrote a tweet about it. So like I'd have to like check the time on that tweet. But it was just like, what the heck? It's like this is when everyone decided to go, and like you can see. I remember this young man, like he was clearly like buying a gift for his mom at the grocery store. Like it had a mug that said like "I love you, mom" or "World's best mom" or something like that, and like roses and chocolate. I was like, dude, you're coming to the grocery store to buy? Like I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Like this has to like this has to be like on top of the real gift. This can't be the gift. I, it's like, oh, let me just get. It's like, oh, let me just get some roses. Oh, I found this cute milk. Oh, it's like, okay, I get that. You know, you probably don't want to get roses the day before. You probably want to get them the day of. I totally understand that because flowers die really quick. But yeah, it's like I really hope that this isn't the only gift. It's like, but like, man, this just made me like afraid of getting married and having kids. Like I don't want to stereotype. Like I really don't. Maybe I got everything wrong. Maybe I was just projecting my own biases onto the situation. I really hope so.
Man, that hurts. But yeah,
I'm sorry. I feel bad.
I know. It's not even the sad thing about it is.
This one didn't have at grocery shop on Mother's Day.
On Mother's Day.
Yeah, men grocery shopping is hot. On Mother's Day, it's a little sketch.
It's a lot. Would be a little. That's a lot of sketch. That's a lot of sketch. Like, what are you doing?
I just came back in time for that. Why? Why is that to be so? Why is that to be sketch? Mother's Day.
Because like,
excuse me.
I don't know. Like, I understand that like sometimes holidays sneak up on us. Like Mother's Day kind of snuck up on me too. I was like, oh, let me put in for like this brunch, and then like I forgot until like midweek. I was like, oh, let me call and make sure that there's still space, and there was. And I thought I was late because Mother's Day is like, you know, it's hard to get like a brunch reservation. Motherfucker. Play with me. I'm hoping that's what it was. I really hope.
Oh man.
Inflation coin is doing really well right now.
Yes.
Yes, no, that's true. That's true, Liz. That's true.
That makes sense.
Like there's like a Black-owned restaurant that I frequent, and then the owner always tells me that Mother's Day is like the last big like food holiday for the year. I guess up until like, you know, until the holidays, you know, because like the summer is usually kind of dead because people don't really like go out for 4th of July. They usually just barbecue. The same thing with Memorial Day. Juneteenth would be the same situation as well. Then August starts with school. Labor Day weekend, they still barbecue. Yeah. So it's not until like, I think it's the day before Thanksgiving is a really big food day as well.
That's so interesting.
It's a really big going out day. So no, absolutely Mother's Day, because like, and it's sad because no one cooks for their mom. It's like, oh, it's Mom's Day off. Let's take her out. Blah, blah. And it's
that actually is pretty true a lot of times. Yeah.
Yeah. Just picked up some. That man is about to make a legit salad sexy. It can be hot. Like, I think I've told you all this before. That I know this is wrong, but like one of the best places to like meet somebody is apparently at the grocery store.
Yes, I have heard something like this.
Yeah, like my therapist has told me that too, and I've heard that even prior to him telling me that. That's just and I don't know. He was like, yeah, next time you go grocery shopping, like look around and see who's like looking at you, or you know, who's looking at people. And I was like, okay. I still don't really like, I don't know, like definitely like Mother's Day, I definitely saw a little bit more because there was just more men. But like other days, it's not really quite the case. And I remember like one day I just kept seeing like women stare at me, and I was just like, okay. I don't know if it was like the staring of, sometimes women look at each other and they're like, oh, that girl is so cool. I don't know if it was that stare or if it was like she just thought it was pretty. I mean, either or. I was like, okay, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go for it.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I don't know. I gotta find a better grocery store.
Better grocery store, better pickings.
Yeah. Instead of just, I don't even know, women and older people and couples. It's just, I live in the suburbs. It's sad. Yeah. But anyways, I'm done talking. It took up a lot of y'all's time.
No, you didn't.
You're good.
Right. Super right. I guess I'll go. So this past weekend was great. My oldest son, he had his conference track meet, and as a freshman, he actually did very well as a freshman. So in the 100-meter dash, he placed in the top 10. He missed out on hitting the finals by like 0.001 millisecond, half like whatever, but it was by 0.001. He
Okay.
he got cut from the finals.
Mm.
And again, mind you, him and the other guy really did like tie. Like they both had like the same time, except for the other guys was like a fraction of a second difference. And I was like, okay, it makes it to the finals. And so he was mad at first, like, but dude, like, remember, you're only a freshman and you place in the top 10. You're running against seniors and juniors and sophomores. He was like, yeah. I'm like, that's nothing to be mad about. It's like you place in the top 10 as a freshman. Think about that. You're running times as if you're a junior or a senior. And he was like, yeah, you got a point. You got a point. So I'm like, dude, you're only going to get better from here. You're only going to get better from here.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
like, okay, cool. And even then, with his open 200-meter run and the open 400-meter run, he placed in the top 15 respectively. And so it was like he ran his butt off, and it showed. And it was good. It was good to watch him run. It was good to watch him compete, and it was good to see him get that experience now versus like not getting that experience. So it was a cool thing just to see him run. The downside of everything is the coaching staff still sucks. Like, oh my gosh. The coaching staff is it's not where it's supposed to be. And here's the reason why I always say this. Our varsity's boys team, they placed 9th overall. Okay. Our girls team placed 4th overall. And so it's like, okay, you guys are both utilizing the same coaches. What's the difference? You know, why is it that our ladies are in a position to compete and our boys are like, always felt as though they're kind of brushed off to the side. Like, yeah, we want you guys to be here, but at the same time, you're not going to really compete as much. I'm like, that's crazy, And so just watching the girls, they were doing their thing. Like, don't get me wrong, the girls team was doing their thing. And it almost seems as though like the coaches were rallying behind the girls team, and it almost seems like the boys team was kind of like defending them for themselves, which was like, okay, get it. And even then, what kind of got on my nerves and struck me to the core, like, oh no, this got to change, is when our opponent's team, their coach was actually cheering on our boys team more so than our track coaches. And so I'm like, what is this? Oh yeah, oh, it gets even better. It gets even better. So the guy, black guy, mind you, he meets one of our runners on one side of the corner, and he literally jogs over to the other side of the corner to meet him, and is encouraging like, hey, you're not running for placement, you're running for time. Get your time. Get your time. And he kind of looked at him like he didn't know what he's talking. He's like, dude, go get your time. You're running for the conference championship. Go get your time. And so the dude took off, and our track coaches were just huddled around in the middle of the field, just like talking to one another. And just kind of looked over to see what's going on. I'm like, oh no, that is not cool. That is not cool. And even one of the spectators, they're like, wow. And see, one of the coaches like, no, he's from a different team. And they're like, really? Like, yeah, he coaches from a different team. Like, but I get where he's coming from. And even the missus was asking, like, why did he do that? It's like, because he gets it. When you're running track, you're running to compete not only against your opponents, but you're running to compete against time itself. And especially if you're at a high caliber track event meet like the one that we were at, you're definitely wanting to compete against time and get your best time now. So when you decide to go to regionals and or state, you know what time you need to be in order for you to compete. And I was like, and he gets it. And he gets it. And so it was just an eye opener for myself to see how other coaches were kind of rallying behind our boys team and were pushing our boys team on versus our own home coaches. And again, it ticked me off. It ticked me off bad. It ticked me off really bad. I'm like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. And this has been going on all season. So talking to one of my coworkers about it, and she's like, you should probably either one, reach out to the coaches themselves, or two, talk to the athletic director and see what it is you need to do to help get these kids into shape. She said, because if this has been happening all season and a lot of the kids that typically were running have quitting because of coaching, it's only going to be a matter of time before a next batch of kids come in and they got to suffer through the same thing. I know. And what kills me is that last track season, the boys and girls team dominated, equally dominated. And even when it came to the Michigan Middle School Association, again, that's the middle school version of state. The boys track team took first place. The girls track team took second place. Overall, and out of I want to say almost 10, 15, 20 different schools there, And so it was a really good feeling to have both our boys and girls team at the top. And mind you, my oldest, he was an 8th grader that season. And so he already came in this track season with a chip in the shoulder. The 7th graders are 8th graders now, and they're dominating as if never before. And so now is come next year, those 8th graders that are kicking butt and taking names now, they're going to be 9th graders. And our 9th graders now are going to be 10th grade. And they're losing a lot of leadership because, again, you got seniors that are graduating. And you got other folks who are saying, if the coaching stays, we're not going to run next season. We're not, because we've had enough. And I felt that. And I get it. I understand. I'm like, nah. And I even told my son, dude, I will throw my hat in the ring for you guys, because the way how you guys are competing is as if you're not competing really. It's almost hey, go ahead and use this time to, get your workout in and blah, blah, blah. It was no, it's not time to work out on the track field. When you're competing, it's time for you to compete. All the workout should have been done during practice. Everything as far as exchanges goes, as far as block training goes, as far as learning how to run your event, that should all be done during practice. So when it's time for your meets, you already know what you need to do. You already know what time it is, and you just need to go and perform. That's it. And even then, talking to a bunch of the sprinters kids, I'm like, yeah, the only thing we do during track season, during practice, is we do a lot of stretches. That's it. We really don't do a lot of our events. We don't practice our events. We don't practice running out of the blocks. We don't really do a lot of practicing of our baton passes. Like, we really don't do a lot of that. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, all of that should have been done towards the beginning of the year and just kept improving as the season goes. As a coach, you would make a note like, okay, struggling with passing. Okay, let's work on passing. Let's work on our exchanges. So at least that way we know what to work on and fine tune so we can get better. Because a good exchange is like 2 seconds off, 2 to 3 seconds off. And that's what they need. They need that competition. They need to compete, But other than that, weekend was good. I can't complain, but weekend was good.
Good. Yeah, it sounds like even with all that, you had a mostly good time and everything, I guess, worked out. Man, I haven't seen, especially when it comes to school, grade school. I haven't really seen a sporting event like that in a while. The closest I would get to any kind of school event would be a graduation, and even that's kind of flaky. But that's kind of nice. You get to having kids, right? You get to relive a lot of that, and you get to cheer them on and get with them. My middle sister, I guess. I mean, I'm the youngest of my family. The younger of my sisters ran track, and so did my brother. So I didn't run. I considered it, but I did soccer, so I was like, it would be a lot to do 2 seasons. I was like, I need to keep these grades up, so I do the fall sports with soccer. But track was always interesting. I had friends who did cross country in the fall, and obviously track in the spring. And I knew the coaches because I had one of them as a teacher. So it would have been chill, but I just wasn't sure if I could do it. But I mean, I kind of liked running ish. We're going to the league.
Great minds think alike.
Yo. Yeah. Oh, I just saw August coming. Yeah, these track stars
Oh,
coming.
no, I'm not. We were married 26 years. Wow. That's awesome. Man, I wish I just lived across the street from somebody's house. That's all I want.
You better check out the homeowner associations and scope out the neighborhoods before you buy.
Hey, let's go.
Not on the creep stuff though, but just
I mean, it's not the worst thing. Well, when you live in a neighborhood, you're just gonna expect families. When he was gone, sorry, Tobe.
Oh no, you're good. I was just yo, whatever. I guess whatever works, to find that husband. I was just seeing what Rocky said too. that was the joke about the shopping. Honestly, family stuff will get you. That will get you apparently, salads, syrups, whatever. Shopping. I don't know. I didn't realize it's the dad bod, except instead of dad bod, it's dad everything. I'm actually surprised that you saw people on Mother's Day shopping, and it was I guess it was sketch because it was too last minute, but that could be a turn on too. So you're doing these regular mundane things that are important to take care of family and people, and boom, insta something. I'm gonna keep it a little PG-13. Insta turn on. There we go.
What do you mean PG-13? This is demon time. This isn't I don't know,
I'm looking down on you, Toby. If you can't see it, I'm looking down on you. You better get it together, sir.
Listen, I'm not that explicit. I'm gonna make my innuendos, but
it's called demon time. I say every curse word in the English language, and you want to keep it PG-13? Okay.
right,
I mean,
it's,
you're the host.
No pressure. You do whatever
You're
makes
the
you
host.
comfortable, of course.
That's true. That moisture didn't come from those vegetable misters. I'm done. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, I'm done. I am done. But you know what? No,
You're
we're
talking
not.
about Chad.
We're getting started. We just getting started.
We getting it started. I'm weak.
You can
I
get your milk.
was gonna say Insta boner, but that was about it. Um, that's probably a little problematic if you're just walking around grocery stores and then you're seeing people doing regular duties. You might want to go check that by a doctor. Not you, Al. Just this is a general.
I know.
So probably.
Oh my gosh. I'm done.
Now for me, because I mean, I'll keep it super quick with my just a really quick like, what the heck was I doing? And let's see if it leads into demon time. I went to a concert. Benson, who used to be called Buju, he's a Nigerian artist who is featured on a lot of songs. Like Wizkid had a song, Ladipo. There's a lot of artists, and so I saw Buju in Providence on Friday. Lord knows. Oh, then I had some random stomach pain, like nothing related to the concert because I had it before. Didn't drink. It was just weird. Staring at the honestly, it was Aunt Jemima that got me. But unfortunately, she got canceled. So now, what do I use? Actually,
What do I use?
I'm not gonna even go there because this getting kind of different. I'll make sure to pick up 1 pound of asparagus.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, all dead, everything.
And there's a further joke on the asparagus, I feel.
Wait, what did you say?
Goodness.
And I was like, there's a whole like asparagus pea thing. So like that's I don't know, that's where my mind went.
Interesting. I don't know. Asparagus. I don't even have. I couldn't even think of anything with asparagus. Like it's just I just don't see it as a turn. Like asparagus is even something that like I tolerate, but I don't love.
I like asparagus.
It's not bad. It's just it can be good, but sometimes it can be a lot. Like you're just eating the stems, and it's like I could do without this. Like,
I get
the head is fine. Okay. The head, the
like the leafy part.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Anyways, I feel like I was gonna walk into something, but
no, I get
You're
it.
almost there. You're almost there. You pivoted at the last second.
Yeah.
Good call.
Quaker Oats got a little feminine. What's going on? No, I do like using vegetable oil. Like when I would make asparagus, just throw them on the pan. And I would always remember asparagus because of like dining halls. Like, oh my goodness, like they love their asparagus, like school dining halls and stuff. And so I think that's why I have like ambivalent feelings because like I kind of had more asparagus than I would ever really want because of these dining halls.
Yeah.
But if I make my own, yeah, it's chill. Nothing crazy. And I would make it with like, chicken breast. These were like meal kits, very basic meal kits. Roast yourself, get yourself some chicken breast, fried on the pan, or salmon. If you get salmon, that's really good. Salmon is. I think my mom would make asparagus, and hers were good. She makes salmon. I always like her salmon. But yeah, God knows. Oh, I moved the weekend before this past one, so I don't really remember what I did the rest of the weekend. I think I just recuperated. I went out yesterday or Sunday. I mean, back to the town I used to live in, which is 25 minutes from here. But a friend of mine, was having like a kind of special. Basically, it was a party. It was a party at a spot that he used to do every week, and he hadn't done it since like the end of last year. So I was like, I got to come back for this. So I went, saw some people who I hadn't seen in some weeks or months, even maybe a month. Maybe not months, but like a month. And Saturday, I just hung out with my roommate's friends. People I'm cool with too. They're all Nigerian, but like my roommate's really good friends with them. So I chilled. Saturday was pretty low key. I didn't do much. But yeah, and then I also was I was not practicing, but in the back of my mind, you always have to have demon time on deck. You always have to.
Okay.
I actually had a great conversation with a friend of mine where we were talking about things and like she's a good friend, and I don't know, I guess being in the streets, and I kind of this is actually very relevant to this topic because I could be oblivious, whatever it is, what it is. And so I was like, people apparently out here in the streets making passes at me, and I just don't know. As if my virginity was hard enough to lose, and I already have like a negative 10 body count, and here I am being oblivious too.
Sorry, I didn't like. I don't like. I.
Oh,
I know that was a joke, but like negative 10 body count. You have to like sleep with 10, 11 people, I guess, to lose your virginity.
No, that's actually I actually never thought about the logistics of how that would work. That if you have a negative body count, you actually. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's
yeah.
well.
Because,
Like, was it like, were you like repenting for like the past sins of like your previous lives? Like, what are you doing? How do you know that? How do you know you have negative? That's my question.
Oh man, yes. Oh, we got time today. Oh, we got time today.
Oh,
you got some. You got some explaining to do, sir.
Sorry for the tangent. Like,
no, it's all related. I was like, I used to, because I feel like people like the joke would be like if someone was like, I don't know, trying to say like, oh, you're a hoe, or like, oh, you're a player, like you got all this. I was like, no, I have like negative 10 body count. What are you talking about? And like I've never even like there's a whole scenario skit in my head, but it's hard to like act out. Like almost like you're trying to like outdo each other on how like little game that you get. So it's like I've never had sex with a girl. It's like I've never even hugged a girl. No, I've never even touched a girl. I've never even thought of a girl. Like what a girl, I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what this conversation's about. And everyone's just trying to outdo each other with like how little knowledge or interactions they've had with a woman.
Oh my goodness,
that's funny.
But I mean, it's really not that bad. I would say I'm somewhere, but a gentleman never does street activity and tells, just like a lady never kisses and tells. So
yeah, I just kissed and told, so I guess I'm not a lady.
Oh shoot! You're right. You did. You are a lady though. It's like Schrodinger's box all over again. Why did this come up a few weeks ago? Oh, because we were talking about some humor thing. So this is really Schrodinger's box again. Like, am I a virgin? Am I not? What's my body count? It's an infinite range of negative infinity to infinity. Lord knows, no one's gonna know until we check. I don't know how we check. Use your imagination for what that means. But I'll just keep y'all, like Trump says, I'll keep you in suspense. We'll see.
Okay.
There was some kind of trail. Oh yeah, I was talking with my friend, and we were just talking about me being not just me, but like innocent, being kind of innocent and oblivious. And I feel like I carry that kind of air, which is why like I kind of sometimes don this persona, which is more ironic than anything. I feel like, where my friend Carlos actually put it well, because I posted like the Mother's Day. I posted these jokes for Mother's Day like a long time ago, like 4 years ago. I tweeted like something along the lines. If I find the link, I'll send it in the chat. Probably I meant to put it in Discord, but it was something along the lines of, just like, hey, mothers, they need to be celebrated. Y'all brought us into the world. We appreciate the work you do. And I was like, the next tweet, I was like, anyone who's trying to become a mother, hit me up. It was just so like slick and passing type of comment. I was like, anyone's trying to be a mother, hit me up.
Wow.
And so I reposted that tweet, and a friend of mine was like, hey, yo. And I was like, one day I need to chill, but right now that day is not today. And he was like, I think he was like, actually, he's like, no, you like built this this public persona of trolling that you've built over the past few years is A1. And I was like, oh snap, that is basically what this is. I would what I would call it is just like it's my alter ego. Like in Father's Day, don't worry, Father's Day is upcoming. You're gonna see some wild tweets, not even tweets, but just things I've posted in the past. I don't even want to spoil it, but at the same time, I feel like I have to because this is the Demon Time stream.
If you would.
If you what? If you must.
Once you like again talk about fathers, y'all are great. Then it's like I just realized how I can make it even worse. The joke I think I just said was I might not be I might not be a father, but y'all can still call me daddy tonight.
Right, yeah.
Which is kind of like that kind of works nicely. But if I really wanted to be effed up, which I was like, for those, I said, don't worry, those who don't have a father to celebrate with, y'all can still call me dad.
Wow.
It's actually so not right.
Yes.
But like, I might actually do
Yes.
this, like up the ante. I might just up the ante because at this point I don't have any chill.
It's your stream, sir.
It's my stream, man.
It's your stream.
I get some engagement though. I mean, y'all. Hold on, who's calling me? I have a restricted. I can't answer this call on the stream, but I have. What do you say?
So don't answer. I mean, I don't know, like restricted at 10:15 at night.
I think I know who it is. I have a good friend of mine, actually the one I was just mentioning the other day, and for whatever reason, her number has been showing up as restricted recently. I don't know why. And I had another number show up as restricted. It was Enterprise for my car rental. And I'm just like, I was just like, y'all are crazy. You're filtered for content use. Wait, Chad, what was this referring to?
But which one?
This one.
I don't know, but it was funny.
Roddy exists in the belly of the Shinigami. Yo.
It was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Oh, snap. Oh, I'm dead.
Oh man.
No, but what I was gonna say,
Yeah,
the chat, honestly, y'all are doing great in the chat, but I also want to kind of hear some of your best pickup line, flirtatious type things, flirty innuendos, ideally original. I mean, it could be something that's classic that you love, but I want to see something. What are some of like the best pickup lines that you've heard or that you've come up with? Things. I'm not really that down bad, but y'all can still slide my DM.
That's debatable.
It's debatable. This is all for kicks and giggles, honestly. So a little bit of actual backstory too of how this came about. Besides, like the comments you guys put in the chat last week. The reason why this topic became a thing was last summer, I had a pool. I had an apartment. Friends would come over, women friends. They were comfortable with each other, comfortable with me. They'd come over, they might cook, they'd hang out. I got free food out of it. You know, I had alcohol, they had alcohol. It was all a good time. I hosted a few pool parties. Some of them are more impromptu, but sometimes during the stream, you could see people in the background or hear people. And I would just have friends just come over and be like, oh, what's up? And they'd photobomb my stream. So it's just like, how do you just have like women in just casually in your apartment? And it's like 9 p.m. to like midnight because we know the time that we stream. And I'm like, I don't know, but this isn't what it looks like. This is not harem no jutsu, sexy jutsu or whatever. This is not. I don't know. It's just friends and people chilling. It's summer. We outside. And the area I was in had a very deep community, like Africans especially, a lot of East Africans like Kenyans and different people. Mm-hmm. And so it was like a lot of people knew each other. That would probably not happen as well here because where I live is 25 minutes from that town. That it's like a city. It was like easily 110,000. And where I live is like 20 minutes from Boston, but my Boston friends were not the ones who I was entertaining, you could say. They were from this other town, Lowell. And so, well, I don't know, like it was just like, okay, I guess I have some kind of like sauce. I don't remember what streams they came up on, but it might have been like Thanksgiving time or some other time where it was like, man, Toby, I wish I could just get people to cook for me. And I was like, I don't know what the secret sauce is. I just have friends who are willing and more than willing. I mean, people who really are like, yeah, let me know, whatever. Friends who have leftovers who want to give them to me. And I'm like, bet I'm not going to say no. I guess if you're like a relatively good person, not a creep. Let me see. Let me put this in bullet points. Be kind of a good person. Don't be a creep. Like one girl said to me how like she didn't feel like I was a threat. She felt that I wasn't a threat because she knew kind of that I was friends with other people, and then unless I'm like hoodwinking everyone, I probably have to be a decent person. Because I had a lot of female friends. And I guess my energy, I didn't come across as a threat where, I'm on actual demon time on the prowl. Even if you're low key on the prowl, at least don't have that energy up front. You'll actually attract more people to you. I'm just thinking about how to make this a Patreon or a masterclass, but don't mind me.
Oh my gosh. This one right here.
Oh, God. Oh, this is great. I have to say
that was clever.
That was actually really great. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Of course, I shouldn't even be surprised that you would like already have had like an answer to this with a comedic background. And hey, I feel like you're not afraid to make a move either. I'm gonna say that maybe we should be talking about El the Smooth because I feel like you have some kind of game. I don't know. I feel like you have some game. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's you.
I don't know.
It's all you told me.
Well, I've had a guy come over and cook for me once. Yeah, once.
Okay.
But I don't know. You've had several women, it seems like. So
I'm just a bachelor, I guess.
Okay. But yeah, but like you were saying how like, women feel safe around you. That's probably like the biggest compliment a man can receive. Because that's massive. Like, I'd say that's like the number one reason. I mean, I can't speak for all women. I feel like a majority of women will like feel comfortable having sex with somebody is if they feel safe. Because I know that's like it feels like almost like no shit Sherlock, but for whatever reason, men don't seem to know that, so they want to be assholes and like mean and a little aggressive on like a date or so. And it's like, do you not want sex? Okay. I was considering it until you started making me feel scared.
Yeah, that's never it.
Was he buried in the bed? No. I was just trying to remember. Like, if a guy cooked for me again, I was like, I guess not. Like, I just. No, I think that was the only time. Yeah, not too many people have like come over and cooked for me. Yeah, no. Sorry. But no, Toby definitely wins.
I mean, that's the thing is like it did seem like a lot, but it wasn't. I guess maybe this year especially, it wasn't really common. It wasn't really something that happened often. I'm trying to think like I've had, I don't know. I like even now like they're friends. Like my birthday came. Okay. Ooh, okay. So this is a big one. My birthday came, but like a few days after my birthday, unfortunately I totaled my car. So The whole month it was just like stress. Then I went to California for a conference, which was fun, but low-key bad timing because I had to move out by the end of April and just all this stuff happening.
Gotcha.
So I have a friend, 2 friends, and one of them, oh my god, her snaps. I'd be looking at her snaps and they're always fire. Like just the food that she cooks. She's, I want to say, like part Dominican, part Haitian. She's like multiple. She has like a lot of background. And she hangs out, and so or around there. And so one time I kind of was like, I shouldn't have even felt bad to ask it, but I was like, I hope this isn't a crazy request, but like my birthday is coming up. Do you think like I could? Basically, I was like, can you like cook? I was like, can you just like make something? Because I know she loves to cook, and like sometimes I would even like comment on her stuff, and she'd be like, oh yeah, you can come get some, whatever. And I never took her up on it, but I was like, my birthday's coming up. Maybe you can make like a little something. And she was like, oh my god, I'd be so happy. And I was like, bet, okay. It didn't happen because of just like I said, everything that was going on. I didn't even have a car for a bit. I didn't have my rental at the time, so I was just like. I was just super stressed with the idea of spending like a whole weekend or a day doing this. It was like we should make it like a house thing. It could be like a chill dinner party. Even now, she said like once you move to your new place, she still wants to like do it. But I feel like actual things didn't really manifest as much this year because the lead up to me moving and also winter time is just like, people are a lot more. You can come get some. Oh my god, that was not what I was trying to imply. I don't think that would happen. No, that's not what was. I don't even think it was. She might not have even phrased it that way or quoted it that way. So I'm not going to read into that. Pretty sure she has a whole. You're like a person making me want to get out these streets. Amazing.
Oh god. Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Yo. No, this is actually amazing. So like, and this is like a far cry from my life in like high school. I mean, I had like just little house, like not real parties, but just video games and chill type stuff with my friends, mostly guy friends. In college, I never hosted. I actually never personally really hosted a party in general. And I know that's one big way, of course, that people, can get in that arena. If you become like a party, like a promoter, or like just in general, you're someone who can host, then people, everything changes. Part of why I had so much female engagement, and I don't mean like any like sexual stuff, it was just because I had the pool, people like swimming. I didn't really want to swim, but they would come and hang out. And I feel like if you have assets like that, people are going to be drawn to you. She loved naked, so that was hot. So I
showed up naked.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
It happens.
Oh snap! Wow, I really have been missing out all this time. I just thought it was just the heat wave that was why women were naked in my apartment. That's crazy.
It's like, do you want to come to bed with me? He's like, no, thanks. He's like, I gotta finish some work.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta make this funny Mother's Day tweet. I see you're tired. You must have had a long walk. You had to take off all your clothes. Must be really hot in this heat wave. You're probably, tired, but I got a nap on my bed. I gotta make some jokes on Snapchat.
Oh god.
Oh man. Oh man.
This global warming is too real.
Well, climate change is real, so I get it. And I turn back. Oh man.
Oh man, Tobe.
This is actually amazing. I love everything about this. Um, this reminds me though of something. There was this one Instagram post. If I can find it, y'all will have a field day because it was 10 times. It was 10. Like I'm sure it may have been a tweet thread, but it was Instagram. It was like 10 posts. Where it was showing like what's a time that you were really oblivious to some advance, and one of them, the guy was like, I guess the woman was like, oh, we can take my car. Oh, because I guess it was like he wanted to drop her off or something. She was like, oh, we can just take my car and like, I don't know, something about, or I guess she might have been asking if the person could drive them to their car, if someone was going to drive someone to their car to their house. But I guess the guy said something like, well, how would I get back to my car? Laughed and literally walked away. When the girl dang well was trying to ask them to like basically wanted to bring this person back home with her. And he was like, but then if I leave my car here, how am I going to get back home? He literally laughed, walked away. And then like, God knows how long later, they like kicked themselves so hard because they realized what the implication was. And I was like, I'm all 10 of these. That's the thing.
Oh my goodness.
I'm all 10. Oh, wonderful. Yo, it's I'm actually thinking in real life of some things where I'm like, oh, okay, this was an actual pass. Wonderful. Oh.
Yeah, I have one.
Go ahead, please.
I can't even remember, like, I don't know how long it took me to like realize that it's like, holy shit, what if? Because I just couldn't believe it. So I was at like a food court. Like I had like 4 or 5 different like little restaurants in this building in college. And like I sat and I got my food and I sat down, and like the most gorgeous man I've ever fucking seen walks in. I'm like, holy shit, who is this guy? He walks in, orders himself a smoothie, and sits right by me, like right across from me. And I am like, I don't know what the fuck to do in this situation. This is not what I was expecting. What the fuck do I do? So like we ended up like, like he kept like glancing at me too, and I kept glancing at him. Like we eventually like started talking, and like it went well, like ish. My new roommate came by and like sort of crashed and started talking, and I was just like, dude, what are you doing? Can you leave? And she eventually left, whatever. But like I think I was just like really fucking awkward, and I kicked myself all the time because I'm like, why was I so unconfident? Why was I so fucking awkward? It's just like, it's just like, I don't know, like he could have, like, yeah, of course he could have like sealed the deal or something. I could have like sealed the deal or whatever. Like we're like, Facebook friends, so it's not like there's like a total loss of contact, but it's just like, it took me a really fucking long time for me to like actually like ask him out, like over a year or so, or something like that. Like it just took me a long ass time to like ask him out, to actually talk to him, because I just had like so little confidence in myself in terms of like what would he see in someone like me, like this man is gorgeous. Like what, even though like he and I, had like a lot in common in terms of like video games and things like that. But it was just like, I just couldn't will myself to like say anything, because I was just like, there's no fucking way he could like me. And when I think back on it, I'm just like, well, why the fuck would he sit next to me if he at least didn't find me attractive, like, so like, but it took me like a long ass time to realize, I'm like, is that why he sat there? Like, it took me like years.
Oh,
I just couldn't see past my like my my unconfidenceness, if that's a word. Like I just couldn't see past that, and it's just like the older I got and like, just like the more confident, the more like secure within myself that that I am, it's just like, I'm starting like I realize and even still realizing like, oh, it's not like that hard. Like just because I find him to be gorgeous doesn't mean like, he doesn't find me attractive, like guys are just like the older I get, the more I realize I'm like, guys just want women. Like in a way. Like it's not like any woman, but like a woman. So it's like, oh, I could be that woman. Of course I'm like fucking exaggerating. But it's I guess it's like it's not so much in my head that I think it is, And I think it's just like as a woman, I project the situation from my perspective. So if it was the other way around, I would just be like I mean, I don't know how I come off in terms of like in someone's league, out of someone's league, or what have you. But like when I think back on it, I'm like, yeah, like why wouldn't I be in his league? Like why, I could have been able to get with him, I just wasn't so awkward and weird. But I still kick myself. I'm like, why couldn't I just been normal? Why couldn't I just been cool?
Oh, you could have gone to his league.
I could have gone to his league. I was in his league.
You're in his league.
I'm in his league.
Oh snap! That is great though. Like that girl is that's A1, honestly. No pun intended on the steak sauce, but that's A1 because like how that's great. Like I know like if anything you hear from the guy's perspective, right? Where it's like a guy might be like, oh, I know you vegetarian, but you could still get my meat. But like the fact that the girl's the one who like initiated that is like, okay, I'm with that. I'm with that.
Oh, man, she must have been hungry. Oh, man.
People come up to you. One of those faces where people claim I look like someone else they know. I mean, that's. I don't know. I guess it goes to show that you have like I don't know, like an approachable demeanor, approachable face. So I guess that's a good thing, Chad. But I don't know. Oh, you're probably saying that I'm one of those people. Oh man, I guess I am kind of approachable. That's a good and a bad thing.
Hey.
For believer of ask, you shall receive. Hey, I'm for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that after you realized things went as they went, I hope it's not a sad story where it's like it got blown because of like you not realizing. I would be so happy if the deal was sealed, Rocky, because I feel like that gives me encouragement because Lord knows I would not realize until later, and then I'd be like, so is that offer still on the table that I didn't understand like earlier? But Mish, thank you so much for stopping.
Yay, Mish.
You're coming in hot in this quite a combo. Same thing with you, B. Julia. Appreciate having your hair. Let's just let's just hope everything makes sense. It's kind of a lot of moving parts. And yes, F normal, Chad.
Yeah, I agree. I guess like I wanted to be, I guess, like confident in my weirdness, like more, normalize my weirdness within myself, if that makes sense.
True.
What did you miss, Mish? Well,
you
missed me possibly like fucking up a situation where I probably would have been married by now to someone gorgeous. But his loss, as B. Julia put it. And also, I was just not confident, so my bad. Shit. You're screeching still after I mic drop. That's funny.
Yes, we are all for it.
I agree. I'm awkward, I know that. But Julie, you're not awkward.
No.
I guess when the Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl came out on YouTube, and it was like getting big and around college, everybody was like, "Oh, you remind me of the main character." I was like, I don't know how to feel. I was like, I like Issa Rae. I like the character. I was like, this is not really how I come off. I mean, it's not a.
I've never seen it. But something I actually thought of you recently, like something that you said, I should say. I thought.
Okay, it was like something like, oh, this awkward black chick did something. It made me think of Elle.
Oh no, that is not it. It was something random, but I was like, I remember that whole. You tweeted something about, is there a situation where like the nerdy girl ends up winning in like high school or whatever, where they get like
the nerdy black chick ends up getting
black chick, not just like okay, awkward, whatever, but like nerdy specifically, kind of going into that. I don't know why, but it just kind of was like an interesting thing, and I remembered it like over the weekend or last week. But man, I don't know. Times are changing, and maybe now in this generation, those are the ones. I feel like as adults, there definitely is. Like I feel like people have, I don't know, like not like, oh, you're a nerd and all of a sudden people are always going to be attracted to you, but I feel like there is like a longing for like, oh, okay, kind of cute nerdy girl, nerd black girl, whatever, and there's like a certain pull to it. But yeah, I don't know, like if you're like in high school and going through those growing pains, like is there more of a shift, and do you see people like that getting those like prizes? Oh god, that reminded me of something. But the prize, in this case, a hot guy, or if you're like a nerdy black guy, or nerdy guy in general, you're getting like the 10, the whatever. But again, like preferences have changed, and not everything that we thought was like maybe the hottest thing is what people consider the hottest thing. I actually think a quick example is like 21 Jump Street, which I actually didn't see until a few years ago.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you're not missing out exactly. Like, it's okay. It's in the culture, I guess. Like, not like black culture, but like it's right. It's just like there's definitely a phenomenon with it, especially 22 Jump Street. I mean, there were memes and stuff. But like, there's a point in 21 Jump Street where it's like, they're like trying to like infiltrate this high school because they think there's a drug ring, and it turns out like the nerdy guy, Jonah Hill, like, and then you have like Channing Tatum. Thank you. I was like, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Channing Tatum. Like, he was like the jock and everything, but like all of a sudden, Channing Tatum is like, he's not being bullied. Like, no one's gonna bully this guy, but like he's not necessarily fitting in. And Jonah Hill, who was the nerdy guy, he's like super cool all of a sudden because like the cool thing was to talk about sustainability and like the future and like all these things, and like the cool kids were the ones who were selling the drugs, which was like then became a conflict of interest. But like those cool kids were like kind of like not necessarily nerdy, but they were very academic. They were very like passionate about their community. It wasn't what you kind of think as like the appealing, the hot jock or like the I don't know, the whatever, the girl, the cheerleader. God knows. I've been out of school for too long. What are the hot tropes? I don't know. Right. But that was just kind of a thing that I just thought of, like awkward, nerdy. I don't know. Sometimes people can find it cute. The intellectual for sure. I don't know, like it's not like I was just bagging people left and right or anything like that, but people like recently have been telling me how like Tobe, like I have friends of mine who are like, yo, Tobe, you're kind of a hot commodity. Like you're smart, you're like intelligent. I'm not gonna deny. I'm not gonna confirm or confirm or deny this, but they're like, you make money. I know you must make money. You're a software engineer, but like, you know, all these things, like you're a good looking guy. Like, you know, we can just need to give you a makeover. Oh, that was a thing. If I had a makeover, like I had like everything faded and I had like twists or braids, it would have been done. Like it would have been game over. I would have came on the stream a whole different band, and it would have actually been different. Even more deep of time than we are currently doing. But that aside, though, they're just like, yeah, like you're a pretty hot commodity, like, you know, especially as you get older, like, and there's like women who are in their late 20s or early 30s. And I know I've mentioned before how there's people who, you know, maybe I talked to, they kind of were attracted, but then they like, oh, you're young, you're a baby. And I feel like there's a glow that I have. No. You get it, but
That's true.
I mean, I get why like you also would practice that, but I'm just like, oh, all these people are missing out.
I get it. Yeah, but go on, sir.
No, you're good. And so it's like that kind of like gave me a confidence boost too, because you know, whatever, being kind of like nerdy, quiet, very awkward, oftentimes it was like not the best for self-esteem. And I also was not tempting. I was not really trying to date. Much longer story that's not going to happen right now in the stream. But I wasn't like actively dating when I was younger, and so I kind of felt like, you know, like coming into myself more as an adult, especially as like older 20s, like early 20s. I'm still in college. I'm still figuring things out. God knows what. But now as like a working adult, and like I'm more in control of the things that I can do and consume. Like, oh, I actually appreciate like these things that I could say are good about myself that people would find attractive or a hot commodity, and I can try to capitalize on them. And one thing another friend told me a few years ago was like, she basically also like low-key kind of made passes, saying that like I was kind of like her type. Anyway, that's the whole thing. But she's a good friend. Like she is just a friend, but like she was saying like,
it sounds like your friend zone there, but go on. I mean, like it's fine. It's not. Like, I'm not trying to like force you to date this person. If you don't want to date this person, that's totally fine. If you have no feelings, that's totally fine. That's
yeah, totally like I really didn't. I just like we had great, and we still do have great conversation, like humor, like the fact that she really gets like my dumb humor, and sometimes like she can kind of be into some of the like darker humor. She's an engineer. I mean, she works in like a different field, but good paying, and like she we didn't go to school together, but she graduated probably a few years before I did. And we met through like an alumni event years later. So
Okay.
while I was finishing up my last semester, and then, you know, like we just had mutual connections that were like, oh my God, I didn't know you knew this person. So like, but she was telling me how like, you know, like you're funny, because she was basically saying like, yeah, like you definitely are like you totally like same thing, like the whole hot commodity thing. And I was like, oh, it was just so mind blowing, like kind of like you with that self confidence thing.
I think that's hella accurate, Toby. Like God damn, that's so accurate. Like you're freaking Tenchi Muyo.
Wait a second. I don't think I know that.
Titties in your face kind of thing.
Disclaimer.
Just fall over their skirts, just fly up. And then the panties with the little like bow in the front. They always seem to all have the same panties.
Oh no.
Hold on. They turn a beet red because Toby just so happens to glance over like, don't look at me, Toby. So you're like, yes, Toby, look at me. Look at me.
Oh, I never watched these like anime. Like Toradora is probably the only rom-com I've really seen. And Toradora was great. But like I have not really watched like a lot of these or seen these tropes as much. Besides like you see Princess Tsunade with a big, I mean you see like things in other anime, but I've not like watched a slice of life or rom-com where that's like the main thing. So maybe I should, and I should start taking some notes. So that whatever you said, things just happen as you walk by, and people are just like making passes at you.
B. Julia, I don't understand the thing with waiting too long to pair, like to get with someone. No, 'cause I'm trying to remember what this could have been with the thing.
Oh God, bye.
The was it Sundari chick?
Oh yeah, that's to do with Thunder. Yeah,
Yeah.
Taiga.
Okay.
Yeah, I just love how when you look up Sundar, Taiga from Torador is like the first result. I'm like, yes, I actually know this person.
I don't even know this person.
Oh, honestly, Torador is short, like less than 20 episodes, maybe less than 15. It's a good watch. Secure, healthy people pair up early and stay together. And they have the nerve to pair up with each other.
Yeah, so just like two great people are just out of the dating pool. Like,
Mm.
Interesting.
oh,
Oh, there you go.
Appreciate it. Is that? Oh yeah. Obama, you're both married, right?
Chad,
Basically the same person.
Chad Obama.
Oh man.
He's
Oh man. I'm
also
good.
Yeah, Chad's married.
yep.
Yeah.
And this probably was showcased earlier, but I just saw this about the whole like archetypes and dating. And yeah, the nerdy guy, as long as you have some kind of social skill and you're not like a complete sociopath or anything like that, then like you're gonna do well. Like, you're gonna do well. The nerdy kind of awkward sense of humor kind of can work. I mean, sometimes if you're a little like too blunt and too unaware, yeah, you're gonna like hurt some feelings. But if you have some prowess and like you're interesting, it works in your favor. Now, of course, all of this, yeah, that's a lot. These billionaires and all these other people, but even not to be on that level, like you have some things going for yourself, and that's a big thing. Like, again, I don't know why these videos keep showing up in my recommendations, but I feel like not quite red pill, but red pill adjacent videos sometimes show up when I go onto YouTube. And like one video I saw was like, apparently it was like a woman saying something along the lines of like like people don't want to hear this. I don't know. They say women don't want to hear, or men don't want to hear this, but like it was a woman saying this, saying like, we don't want like men who like are super like over available, where it's like there's nothing better to do than just to like. I think she was saying like we want people who can like bag, bees, like bag women. He's like why would I want a guy who's like lame and like doesn't have any women? Like I'm gonna be thinking like what's wrong with him? And the guy it was like a clip, like a maybe 10-15 second clip, and then the guy, he usually does reactions to these type of clips, and he was like, yeah, like people don't want like, I guess women don't necessarily want someone who has nothing going on, who's like always available to always hang out and like just doesn't have anything else in their life going on. Like you're actually gonna get sick of that. And I mean, I think it's valid, especially I think it is pretty valid. Like you want to be doing your own thing, have your own hobby, have your own sort of grounding. And of course you want to make time for someone, but you don't want to necessarily, they don't want to feel like you are their next project, maybe. Like, I don't know. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the thing too, is like you clearly have interesting things. You could be entertaining, you could be doing whatever. You have some passion or hobby or gift, and people will be drawn to that versus if you just got nothing. Not necessarily. So that was just kind of an aside.
So, to clarify, just to make sure that I was just honestly very shocked that Chad has been in his relationship since he was 18. Like,
Hey.
I was like, okay, wow, okay,
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
it's like you too, Ron, right?
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was just like,
Yes.
wow, we got two of them on here.
Yes. And to Chad's point is like, yeah, like I've probably been oblivious to a lot of things and I don't know, never really paid attention to them, like, okay, whatever. It just went about my merry way to think about like, wait, did that really just happen? Like, yeah, oh well.
Oh well. It's not gonna do anything for me. I mean, it
So
might be like a slight ego boost. Like it's like, all
I
right,
mean,
still got it, you know.
if that happens, I will let you know.
Okay.
If
Maybe
that happens, I
five
will
years
let you
later.
know.
Like
Yes.
5 years later, it's like, oh, this woman flirted with me 5 years ago. I just realized.
Oh man.
Are funny women a turn off for real as long as say same things make you both laugh?
No.
That's-
No. I'm gonna say no to that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mm-mm.
Go ahead, Ron.
I'm gonna say no because it just means that that woman is very clever enough to be creative with her jokes and make it stick. And to me personally, if you can get me laugh, like genuinely get me laugh, oh yeah, sold. Just due to the fact that I like to laugh as it is, anyways, and I
Hmm.
like to have fun. I'm that type of person, that easygoing type of person. And if we're going back and forth making each other laugh, we're good. We are good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like regarding
Ooh.
Julia's um comment, like so I as a funny person, I guess.
Go
Like
ahead,
as a
Tobe.
funny woman, rather. Like it's easy for me for like the guy to like me, but like I don't know, to like stay liking me is maybe I'm thinking too hard or whatever, but it just seems like it's like a little difficult.
Hmm.
Like
Mm,
I've noticed that like funny black women, like celebrities, like famous funny black women tend to always seem to be single. Um Especially like comedians. You know, like some of them are like when I think of if you see the show A Black Lady Sketch Show,
Hmm.
all the women on the show in each season, beautiful women. Beautiful women. Very beautiful. And I believe all of them are single. And I'm like, how?
Hmm.
How?
wow.
How? 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 Like, and that terrifies me. And that's just always seems to be the case. Like even not necessarily just black women comedians, but like women comedians in general. Um, always seem to stay single for very long or have like like really hard or rough relationships, which I guess
Mm,
helps with their comedic act. But also, like, but then again, like when you're a comedian, you're not like, unfortunately, like the most like mentally stable person because you really have to be like
mm,
insane to do it. Like it's really taxing on the mental, very taxing. So like I get that, but it's like I don't know. Like there are men who like will probably be like intimidated by like a funny woman, which that's
mm,
his fault. I guess because like they probably feel like, oh, it's my job, or this woman is now becoming way too attractive, and therefore I have to treat her shitty, or like it's he has like lower self esteem or something, and needs to bring her down, or I don't know, like maybe like there's a plethora of reasons as to why dating as like a funny person is hard. Like now I don't even like bother putting that on my dating profiles.
Hmm.
I mean, I haven't gone on stage in like years, like done stand up in years, but like I try not to be like, hey, I did stand up, because they're like, tell me a joke, and then never like I was like, okay, or I stopped telling them jokes because it doesn't go anywhere, doesn't lead to anything. But like ideally, like, and what's funny is like my therapist just told me this today, that like like funny women, that's like really attractive, in terms of like dating and what have you. But it's just like in practice, like it's like hard. Like I don't know, like if that makes, it's kind of like, like you might think that like the very beautiful girl will have an easier time in dating, but like she may actually have a hard time because men are just way too intimidated. Like there's that like, I don't know, paradox, I guess you can say. So I don't know if that's the case, like, but it's sort of like, if you're intimidated, if you're, like whatever about me, then that's you. Like I'm not gonna like try to like lessen my shine, but like in turn, I do want a funny guy. I do like it when guys are funny. I don't want to be the only one telling jokes in our relationship. Like I need to laugh too. And like a funny guy is really fucking hot. Like it took me a long time to actually like find like a funny guy and like actually understand, like, because I always heard like girls would be like, oh, I like a guy who's funny, I like a funny guy. And I was just like, and I never quite like understood that until like years later, until like, well, actually it was just like a couple of years ago. I was like, oh, I see what they're saying now. Like a lot of guys think they're funny, but they're really just assholes. It's like they make fun of people. It's like, oh, you're not funny, you're just an asshole. But like, like I feel like a funny guy is someone who can make fun of like a situation or just like, like certain things, and and or like how things are, and they can make a joke. Like I do recommend like everyone, man, and everyone, man, woman, everyone in between, should really just learn how to actually construct a joke, or like take like a level 1 improv class, just to kind of learn and understand comedy in a way. Like I think that's beneficial for everyone. But yeah, like some people think they're funny when they're really just giant assholes. So yeah, that's my I'm gonna try out a joke. I love that. That is fun too. Yeah, I love that Chelsea Handler and Joe Choi are together. Oh, that's good. Like I like them. Jennifer Lawrence, like she's not like, she's an actress, but like in real life she's actually like kind of funny and witty. Kind of like Issa Rae. Like Issa Rae, well, she makes comedic shows, but she doesn't do like stand up, which I feel like it's like like a difference. I agree. When women win, we all win.
Indeed. Also, this comedy couple with podcast Mom's Basement. What was this referring to?
Wait, what?
I
didn't see that.
Yeah, I'm just going back now. 10:59. Well, first I want to like Chad. That's
yeah, I know.
Smart man. Keep that. You might need that for some time.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw this.
No.
B. Julia, which couple was this? Or which podcast is this? But let me go down. Any male friends that are married? I don't know of any male comedians that are married funny women. Seems like they usually wind up with some millions.
It's true.
I think even what's his name, Donald Glover. I don't know who he's dating. I mean, apparently he's dating a white woman. There's some consternation around that, but I think she's pretty anonymous. I mean, Donald Glover is notoriously private with a lot of things. Like he just won't post, and all of a sudden, oh, music, oh, TV show, whatever.
Mhm.
So I do think, I guess that is kind of true that there's a lot of like just random like people aren't necessarily getting other comedians, and I'm not as aware of like women comedians and like who their spouses are or their partners are, but I guess maybe they're not dating comedians either. I'm not sure though. Like comedians, as you know, we talked last month about all that. Like I recognize comedian names, but I don't know much about a lot of them.
Right,
Their
right.
lives. Excuse me.
I mean, like it's true. Like, well, the thing is, like, especially when it comes to stand up in particular, like, first of all, like, when and where do stand up comedians perform? It's usually late at night at a bar or a venue, and it's, you're performing for other people. So it's usually like couples are out, and that's essentially it. Like, occasionally there'd be like a group of friends and whatever. And women always, not always, but women tend to always want to like fuck the male comedians. They're called, well, it doesn't matter what gender, but they're usually called chuckle fuckers. And that's literally the term in the stand-up comedian world. It's chuckle fuckers. It's people who, they come up to you after sets, like, oh, you're a great set, blah, 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 this and that. And they like essentially want to have sex with you. Like the things that like women would talk about, it's like, okay, you really want to fuck me after what I just said on stage? It's like, you're most likely crazy. Like, kidding, not kidding. But it's, I don't know, it's just different because like legit, like legit models or beautiful women will probably come up to a man. Whereas like, like the type of man that will probably come up to women is like not the same. It's just like it's just not the same.
Our challenges.
Yeah. I mean, it is an ego boost, like, talking to people who just saw your set or, people coming up to you and being like, oh, you had a great set. You were so funny. You were great. But I don't know. I never really saw like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's just sort of weird. I was actually thinking about Ali Wong a lot when I was just talking just now, because like she has a like in her newest special, I can't remember what it's called, like Don Wong. She talks about how like the type of guys, she talks about chuckle fuckers. So like I highly recommend you all like watch it because it is funny and accurate. She was like, oh, the guys that slide into my DMs have like 0 followers and are following no one. It's like, who do you know that knows no one? Like, I just thought it was so. It was like, okay, yeah, it's clearly a bot or just someone really fucking creepy. But it's like, yeah, who do you know that knows no one? How can you know someone who knows no one? And then you found me. It's like, I say that because I don't know what they do. Yeah, they do have a kid, and I believe she is white, or like, I think she's white or like part Asian or something. But yeah, he keeps it. Donald Glover keeps it like really, really private, which, like I agree. I think that's the best way to go. As a famous person, especially if like your significant other is like a civilian or what have you. It's like, like your private life is private, so just keep it private.
Yeah. And I respect that. Like, I like whatever. I'll like post troll type things on social media, but I don't know. I don't necessarily talk about, or I feel like if I wasn't some kind of serious relationship type thing, and this is something I talked about too with a friend. Oh yeah, my friend Kara, who came on the stream once during February. And we talked about kind of like that concept of like, if you're building something, it should really be like private. I mean, obviously anyone can do what they want, but like, this relationship, it's relationship. It's not like a community ship. But sometimes what happens when you go so public and then everybody has their input on what should be happening. God forbid it's like a local thing. I mean, I know Ron dated someone in high school. Of course, Chad, you were 18. So there are people who date people who are closer to home. And it has its like pros and cons, but I know that like people have their inputs and people have their say about how things should be. Versus like if you just kind of like keep things close to your chest, you kind of get to like deal with everything without the outside influences. And so, yeah, I respect those people being private. I mean, some people may be private because they're not proud. Like I know the whole drama with Drake and his child that he was hiding from the world. But like some people are like actually seeing people and they're just like, seeing those people without a lot of fanfare. Like one friend from college, I remember he posted something on Instagram. He graduated in 2016. He might have graduated. He graduated sometime, like a semester or two, maybe after. But in any case, it had to be after 2017 or sometime after we were in college. And he posted like, get you a girl who understands that you're not posting her isn't because you're ashamed of her or you're not proud of her, but because you want to build what you two have together personally and privately. So I guess he posted her a year into the relationship. And I know who she is too. Like she's a friend. And so like, I was like, oh snap, I didn't know they're together. It's just like so interesting. Just like, yeah, that's actually really interesting. And I agree with that stance. And I know some people want to be ultra public. They want to post everything and every gushy moment and whatever, which is fine. But some people at least might just keep it limited to like special things like birthdays. I mean, I'm not policing how people should post. Obviously, if you're really into the person, you want to always show them off and you want to be happy, cool. But I think sometimes maybe people do all that before things are really official, and then like all of a sudden it's like, oh, like I see those memes where it's like, I know I just said I had a man, so don't ask me like why I'm posting someone different. Like and people who like I think you claim people or a situation before it gets really real, and that can lead to like a lot.
Yeah,
kind of not exactly. I guess maybe somewhat related, but I kind of got on a tangent, so I'm gonna doom scroll this chat. So I'm gonna offset too. Well, so what makes men attractive? Comes down to the fact that most of what makes men most attractive is usually different than what makes women attractive. Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, true. Yeah, like granted, yeah, of course there are like similarities, but I guess there are, like yeah, a man would probably want like a funny woman, but maybe a woman would want like a man with a sense of humor, like at a lot higher level. Like if he were to like build out like the skill sets, like if this was like an RPG game or something, it's like how to build a man. I want to give him 10 points humor and like 5 points attractiveness. A man will probably be the opposite. It's like, oh no, she needs to have like 10 points attractiveness and 5 points humor. Like she just needs to be quick enough to understand Rick and Morty. Yeah. Like literally a 3 on a humor scale. Well, whatever. Everyone.
Are you saying Rick and Morty's a 3?
No, I think it's funny. I think it's a good show. Like from what I've watched, it's just like people are making it seem like it's like you have to be so super smart to get it. And like when I watched it, I was just like, I was understanding everything. But I was like, is there more to it? Then I asked my friend who likes the show too. He's like, no, I don't know why people act like this. I was like, oh, okay. But it's because like everybody watches it high.
Everyone watches it high, and
I think it's more. It's a fun show to watch high.
It's
not
there you go.
Oh man.
Yeah, I guess I see your point, Rocky. Yeah. Well, what do you find attractive in a woman, Rocky? Let me put you on the spot.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, because you're single.
True.
Yeah.
I need to look up Singles Awareness Day, which is like demon time galore. Singles Awareness Day is a real thing. Some people say it's Valentine's Day. I'm not sure though if that's actually the case. Oh, it's February 15th. Dang it.
Wow.
So it already passed. Oh well.
Well, it's like that's when the singles come out and buy the chocolate. Like that's when they're aware. Like I don't know why is it the day after?
Singles awareness, like it's like a play off of like basically singleness being like a disease. Not okay, I shouldn't say disease, but like basically it's like we have to be aware of our plight. So it's kind of like all these couples looking great. No, we need an awareness day, and then dramatic music and commercial, and for $1 a day you can feed a single person or whatever. They're very aware. Now people need to be aware of us. But
That's it, Mish. You just summed up like the sad majority of the Rick and Morty fans. Like pretty high IQ to understand Rick and Morty. I was like, I guess I have a high IQ then.
I'm not bragging, but I understood every reference in that.
Yeah, like I think I mentioned this on the stream before, but like Archer's a fucking hard show to get all the references.
Yes.
It's like, you gotta know like war history. You gotta know like different types of like weaponry. You gotta know so much shit. I was like, damn. But it's still a hilarious show.
They went on that show. I'm kind of curious. Like I know Rocky, of course, you were put on the spot, but in general, like what is it? Because to go in that question, like what is it that makes men and women attractive outside of course, the obvious physical things? Men gotta have whatever. It could be the facial, could be
I am single. He said they'll make you very aware. They'll tell you that they're single.
Oh, I'm dead. Next. Oh yeah, see, I remember that thing about Ireland. So that's literally like I haven't seen that quote, I don't think, but like I remember that from the last time when we were talking, and I was like, yo, I gotta go back and do like an Archer watch.
I know.
It was just so good. I only stopped watching because my roommate stopped watching. And I tried watching it again on my own, but I think I just watched the first episode, which is so funny. Like I was actually dying laughing once it got to the end. So like I just watched that first episode. I like rewatched parts of it, and then I was content. Man, like, because I know we talked about some of this on the love, but like when it comes to what we find attractive, it's an interesting thing because people have asked me this, and I sometimes have not been able to fully answer. I'm like, oh, well, I mean, you have the physical components, which I guess are appropriate for Demon Time, but I like talking about other things. The woman who voices Lana.
Aisha Tyler, who is a comedian. She's a stand-up comedian. Yeah. She actually met her, I guess now ex-husband back in college. She went to Dartmouth. So she's also like brilliant. And she's into video games. I still am like a good fan, like a fan of hers, but I used to be like a really big fan of hers.
Oh my god. It's her. No freaking way. So I've been on I haven't watched Criminal Minds in a while.
Oh yeah, she's on that too.
Yeah, season like 11, so pretty late in it, but she was one of the new replacements for, people that, for whatever, I'm not gonna spoil anything, for those who don't watch the show, various people have had exits from the show for various reasons. Okay. And so there was always that need to be filled. And so season 11, and I'm still there, so I can't have a spoiler on what happened to her. But that's so crazy. That's so crazy. I gotta look at her, like the rest of her history, because I'm just like looking her up here on like even her picture. I didn't recognize her immediately, but then it said Dr. Tara Lewis in Criminal Minds. I was like, oh, of course. And Lana Kane. That's crazy. Now actually I do love this woman, like for real, because I never knew who voiced Lana. Like I assumed it had to be a black woman, but like this is actually amazing. See, like, I feel like that's something that I like. Humor is like a big thing because like sometimes like you really can't take things too seriously, like and like, you're willing to kind of like I don't know push boundaries. You can like I don't know, like humor definitely is a big thing, and I feel like it makes things just so much easier to talk with. Like,
Sure.
if you go back and forth, I don't feel like it's just this kind of like, oh, very basic conversation. Like, you actually, they might roast you a little bit. You can roast them a little bit, or you guys talk about other things. Like you said, kind of like the situational humor. It's not like I'm roasting people. Like I'm not making a living just making fun of people. Like I'll kind of maybe make fun of situations or archetypes of maybe things, but not like individually. Like I just need to go pick on this person. And so people who can like kind of do that, I feel like I can get drawn to. It's just interesting, it's interesting to like watch to like whether they make videos or just talking to them, like you actually want to listen to them. And like I think very highly of the people who I found very funny, especially like in my engineering friend group, like my female engineer, black engineer friends. I feel like a lot of them have a really sharp sense of humor. I don't want to babysit her cat.
Dual beating.
Are we talking about Kitty? Oh no!
No, it's just funny.
Not the kitty.
Babysit kitty.
My roommate does have a cat, which better or worse, now those jokes are there.
But like, you're not gonna be babysitting your roommate's cat. Like the cat lives with you. You're trying to babysit her cat. Yes. I know. Same here, Chad. Same here.
Yes, Chad. Tonight is the night. I'm choosing violence. Let's go.
Yo, it's just more encouragement. It's just more encouragement. It's like we're disappointing this man, but then he's actually really like it's like you're disappointing Ron, but no, he's actually here for it. So.
No, I'm here for all the smoke, the tea, the whatever else that comes with it. I'm here for it all. I am here for it all because this is hilarious. Mm-hmm. It is. It's hilarious. And then at the same time, we're actually poking fun on Toby's behalf. So it's like, I'm all for it anyways. Let's go.
I'm a good sport, so, it's not hard, but I'm still a good sport.
Pun intended.
Pun very intended. Now, I feel like there was something.
Oops. Busted. Go ahead, Toby. It's coming back. It's coming back to the station.
You're talking about what you find attractive.
Oh yeah, that was a thing. Yes, thank you. I was starting to think of like some things because I feel like so many things have happened that like any train of thought I had like from even an hour ago is gone. Maybe I'll never get it back, which is fine because I love the conversation. But on that point of what we find attractive, so sure, there's humor. You have other features, great. Oh, actually, what's funny? We did talk about this as a family, which I felt a little weird about, but I was like, okay, I guess we're doing this. It was like, what do you find most attractive in the opposite sex, or in a potential partner? And so I feel like we did not talk about physical characteristics. This was the like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day family dinner. So no one was talking about big booty Judy.
Right. It's like when I see a girl across the room, I'm like, she has a great personality.
She needs a really big personality, like well-rounded personality. Mm-hmm. I'm here for all of it.
A thickly settled personality.
Thickly settled.
Yes.
Oh my God. I love my woman like I love my neighborhoods with a thickly settled personality. Oh my God.
Yeah.
No. But
I'm in love with the shape of her mind.
I'm saving all of these. Here, the text here. Turn off the phone. Oh man.
Oh no, never strike a cat. I don't condone animal cruelty.
Oh no.
Oh, that's good. Oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
I'm cataloging all these. I need like a digital scrapbook. Oh man, when she checks up on me when I'm live. Yo, actually, someone did call me, and it turns out it was the friend who I think it was who was calling me during the live stream. So I was just like, yeah, I'm live because I'm loyal to the live stream. I am not on that kind of demon time where I will pick up a late night phone call, ditch a live stream for the potential of babysitting the cat. Eat the box? What's this? Yeah, a piece of personality. Oh man. Oh, okay. So what I was gonna originally say was just like whatever personality traits that I was interested in. I said one thing was like a girl who can dance, even if it's not like great, like you don't got to be like a super hardcore dancer at all. But I feel like that's like I was such an awkward kid. Dancing was something the furthest away from what I wanted to do. I only went to my senior homecoming because I was a senior. And I feel like then my life kind of changed because I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. Like people go to parties and dance, what? And prom was like very awkward, but like I was there. And so I feel like this was like my senior, junior. This was like late college, when as a family we sat around the table and I was like, yeah, a girl who can dance. I don't know. I feel like it's an easy way to bond and like kind of feel each other out. Not like feel up on each other necessarily, but you feel each other's vibe out. And it's just like it's easy, especially for me. Like I can talk, but in a lot of situations, I'm much more of the quiet, like in the background, kind of like a bit awkward. So like with music and dancing, it like automatically just it gives you a space to kind of like have an alter ego or just like to talk without talking. So that was one thing, but I don't remember. The rest of it was probably just like intelligent, smart, whatever. My answer changes every time someone asks me what type of woman are you into, because I don't know. Sometimes I just say a carbon copy of myself. Like I list a bunch of traits, and I'm like, oh, I just said a female version of me, and that's maybe a problem. Put that beef in my taco. Oh no. Ron with the smoke. We need to take a show. Yo. I'm gonna think about times that I was oblivious because y'all talked about a lot of times you were oblivious. There are times where I kind of know something was happening and I kind of purposefully chose not to realize what it was. One girl, a friend of mine, one of the good friends who I just mentioned that we had a conversation a few days ago, she said something along the lines of, you might catch a body tonight. And like we were at a party, I had just met her this day, and like there was a lot going on. It was late, whatever. This was like around this time probably like February last year. And so it was like, oh, you might catch a body tonight. And she kind of left the room. And I was like, did she say what I think she just said? Catch a body. Because she definitely was not talking about gang stuff. This is not Bobby Shmurda. Mitch caught a body about a week. She wasn't recruiting me. She wasn't recruiting me. So it's like, I think she just like said what I think she just said. But I didn't follow up on that. It wasn't until like a year later, like way later or beginning of this year, where I kind of brought that up and I was like, yeah, you said this, right? And she was like, yeah, I probably was making a pass at you. I kind of remember that. And I was like, oh, okay, great. I'm glad that we're on the same page, that I can't pick up references to save my life. Or if I see them, I talk myself out of that because I'm like, nah, that's not happening. That's not what just happened.
Yes. That was not fair.
No, that very clearly was like very extremely like that's. Anyways, I can't. I mean, not like I'm gonna give detail about the person, but I realize now what that situation is, and I know where I know things, and so the question is, do I want to actually act on these things, or am I going to continue to be innocent? And we'll see what direction I choose to go in. But at least I have knowledge.
Yeah, and that's half of it.
That's half the battle.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that clears up a lot of things. There's no will they, won't they. It's like, okay, I know.
I just don't
Now it's time for me to choose.
Time for me to choose. And yeah. Lord knows if I can remember other times that I was too oblivious. I feel like some people had to tell me later that they were just, but most of the situations just didn't make sense at the time that they would be telling me that because they were either people who were in relationships or people who were just out of relationships and explicitly said they wanted to be more independent. And then they low-key were making passes at me in the same breath. And so, of course, I'm like, oh, no, they're not making passes. They just said they want to be independent. And that's fine. They just broke up with their boyfriend. No, apparently none of this matters. I've learned through so much that this doesn't matter. It doesn't even necessarily matter if you are in a relationship. And I'm sorry, that's like a whole nother topic that's like not something I promote. But people be out here like cheating, just to say it very bluntly.
Oh, yeah,
and I was like, man, how I'm just gonna give a kind of tiny slice that my first like situationship, anything real ship was a person who had a whole person. Now she broke up with that person, but I mean that's a different story, and I don't want to go too much in details. But like things, there were things that were rocky between them. No pun intended, rocky. There were things that were rocky in that, and so they broke up. I kind of was there. I was not trying to be like a side guy. I wasn't really trying to be a rebound, but like it was what it was. And so I feel like now that I've kind of seen more things, I'm like, you know what? I can't even be surprised because people have kids, they might be married, and then they're out here like running game in the streets. Mostly men, unfortunately, from what I've been seeing, but also some women. So I'm like, maybe I should just like, not saying that I am going to partake in those infidelity type things, but I have learned to recognize more that anything can happen anywhere. Like one girl told me, like, I was like, oh, people in relationships, of course they're not going to like you. Like, no, that's very false. Like people in relationships still are attracted to other people. It's just you act on it. That blew my mind.
Oh yeah. Like it's funny how like, even like, it's even funny how like, like girlfriends of mine would be like, I'd be like, oh, I like this guy, but he has a girlfriend. They'll be like, so what? She's just a girlfriend. I'm like, and like they would tell me stories. I'm like, oh yeah, like my boyfriend had a girlfriend when we got together. When he is like, I was just like, yeah, no, stop dating her, and then he stopped. And they're still together. And that's not the first time I've heard the story.
Florida.
But it's true. Like sometimes, like your person may be with somebody else at the time. Like that's very plausible. Like that's nothing that's like really unheard of because everybody has a past in some way or another. So like it's possible that they might just still be in a relationship. And like, and we're just like talking about like monogamous relationships in this situation. I assume like there are people who have like, like ethical non-monogamy who are in like, multiple relationships. So there's like that aspect. But speaking in like, as monogamous, it's just like, yeah, your person may just be with somebody at that time, Like I was watching How I Met Your Father, which is like the spinoff of How I Met Your Mother. And the character Robin, who's played by Colby Smulders, who's like also like in the Marvel movies. Um, she's not like a main character. She's like in Shield or something. But like, she had a line that said like timing is everything, but timing is a bitch, and it's true. Timing is everything, and timing is a bitch because like there's a possibility where like it's sort of crazy, and like we used to think like this when we were like kids, but it's still the case as of right now. Like your significant other, your future spouse is just living their life right now, just doing other shit. They might be dating somebody right now. They might be like not even in the country yet. They might be like shit. Like for some people, they may not even be born yet. Like your significant other might be, you might meet her like 25 years later, like, sort of thing. So it's just, it's just sort of, it's just like kind of, it puts things into perspective where like, yeah, but I know that you were on a more like like a demon perspective of people who are just out here cheating. It's true. Like, that's very true.
It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. That's all I can say. It's so unfortunate. And it's like, all right, I guess this is what people are doing. It's just a lot of headache, honestly. It's not worth, like, even the morals aside, it's not worth those like weird, complicated dynamics. But yeah, I mean, you don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, people could be the whole idea of a soulmate. Like, I don't even know, man. Like, how I feel about it. Like, I get it. There's that person who like gets you, you get them. But I guess you get a little jaded, a little cynical when you kind of see different stats and just divorce and other things, or even the people who stayed together, but there was very clearly problems. But like, you could meet that person and like 25 years later, you're with them, or like you said, it could be in some kind of situation. In fact, a good friend of mine just got married. I mean, he's been engaged, and with the pandemic and other things, it was just like a lot. And he was telling me in this group chat, like the three of us, good friends from college, because one of my friends congratulated the other. It was like, hey, congrats on the wedding, because I didn't see the pictures. But and he explained the whole situation, like, yeah, they just had a courthouse wedding. They honestly like didn't want to have anything big. The parents wanted more, so they were like, we either can elope or we can have a courthouse wedding, but we're definitely not doing a big ceremony. And that whole situation, like, I remember it. That was honestly a situation where that girl was in a relationship with someone else, but it was not good. It wasn't a good situation for various reasons. And I guess he was a safe person for her to talk to. Now, that's a long time ago, like 2015, maybe 2016. Because we graduated in 16, but like, that's, that could happen. That wasn't cheating. That was like a bad situation that someone got out of, and then she ended up with her soulmate. So things like that definitely can happen. Guess you can't be too busy being in the streets, and you might come across it.
That's true, yeah.
True.
Because like the chemistry and like that, like that, like puppy love sort of energy, like that definitely like fades away, and you have to kind of just turn it into something. That's true. It's hard. You definitely have to find someone who like you can build the foundation with, and then build on top of that.
For real. Like, yeah, it's all work. I mean, that's why and I think I've seen something like articles probably about this, about like the idea of compatibility needs to be like, it's not retired, at least reworked, because it's a lot more than just like, are you compatible on some kind of like, I mean, yeah, you can be ridiculously compatible. There are those people who like are truthful on dating apps, and they actually match really well, and they like ridiculously matched. Like I know someone who met almost their wife from Christian mingle. Like they probably would have been married, but there were some complications. But it's more than just like the compatibility. There's like another term, like I don't know, the willingness to work with each other, or there's like I forgot what it was called, but they were saying like it's not just compatibility, but there's like something else that also will determine how these relationships really last. And all jokes aside with demon time, I mean it's a serious thing for any type of real relationship. There has to be the work being put in.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely for sure. Uh-oh. Where? Hold up. What is going on?
Oh, what just happened?
I don't know. Like there it goes. Whew. Boom.
I just don't want to be with my spouse. Good. Seriously.
Ooh. Okay, Baraka, I see what you're going with the questioning.
Foster love. There definitely can be people who learn to love. Like I've heard about that. People say like I learned to love my spouse. It could be in the context of an arranged marriage or maybe a marriage of convenience, where it's like, sometimes maybe the guy really was passionate about pursuing the woman and could say she settled, for lack of a better word. If not settled, at least there was some kind of like, I guess they're persistent and they are a good guy. They're a good man and I can learn to love them. And then they do. They really do love. Maybe they're together at first and there's not really a love. It could be a lust, or it could just be like a friendship type thing and you decide to be together. And again, it's just like, this is good for me. But then over time, you've learned to love. I don't know. I've heard of different scenarios. I do think sometimes you can fall in something. Like even if it's not lust, there's like a strong feeling that you can like fall in. I don't know if I would call it love per se. But I do think that love has to be fostered, like for real love.
Yeah, I would say it's a combination of the both, because once you fall in love with somebody, you want to put in that extra work to keep on loving that person. And a lot of times you will find out if they really love you or not is if you go through some tough times through your relationship. And that's what's going to set a lot of things in perspective. Because if you go through, do I sounded muted? Do I sound muted?
No,
I don't think so.
you sound fine.
Hold on. Let me do this. Do that. Okay. I sound a little bit muffled.
I thought you sound fine.
Yeah, I thought you sound. Do you think you sound muffled on your end?
No, Julia. She's saying that I'm sounding muffled or muted.
No.
I don't know. Okay. So pause, rewind, stop, play. Okay. Maybe it's an airplane. It might be my G8. I'm sorry. It might be my G8. I know somebody said I had a G6. Like, nah, I upgraded. I went for a full-fledged G8. Full-fledged for a G8. Anyways, no. You'll find out if that person loves you or not is if you're going through a tough time, because as you fall in love and as you foster this love to make it long lasting, it's going to actually tell if you guys got married or if you guys got into a relationship that was it that main building block, or I think somebody said, was it because of just convenience? Like, oh, I'm going to get in a relationship with this person because they're there, or I want to marry this person because they were just there. They were the only option I had at the time, and blah 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 blah. And it's like there's a lot that has to be taken in perspective, and there's a lot that you have to think about, and especially. Yes, hold on. Before we move on, yes,
Mm.
just be like, listen, I'm sorry. But even then, we all know why there should only be an apology. There should only be one reason why you should apologize. If you don't know, go into the Discord. You'll find out. There's only one reason why. Other than that, no, it's like whatever.
Yeah, no, like whatever you're doing, be Juliet, it's totally fine.
It is.
Like you're just being you. We accept you for
Oh
who you are,
yes.
Yes.
no matter what it is that you even do. Like she just said that she was Spanish. I was like, what are you talking about?
No, you're not spamming. Sheesh. We enjoy watching you type in, press that enter button. It lets us know that you're still with us.
Right? Yeah.
For real though.
You're fine. Yeah. Never apologize.
Never.
Oh man. But yeah, it's like I said, it's just one of those things where, it fosters over time and you gotta put in the work for it. You do.
Yeah. No, for sure.
True. Because I know a lot of people say like, love at first sight. I'm like, okay, but did you actually take the time to know this person? Like, is this person a serial killer? Is this person abusive? Is this person a rapist? Like, you fell in love with this person at love at first, like, oh, dreamy eyes and blah blah blah, everything I wanted, and then get married. Next thing you know, this man is on the run because he had killed like 4 different women in like 4 different states.
Mm. Crazy.
There's just some stuff you just never know. So again, you have to be careful. You have to be careful.
Right.
You have to be careful.
It's true. Like, definitely you can fall in love at first sight and then eventually, get lucky, and then y'all are trying to foster the love and, have it continue on through. I mean, like, it's like, can anyone have a successful marriage? Like, if you just paired 2 people together, yeah. If both people are like willing to like work towards it and all that. Like, I think they say that like, what's it called? Like, arranged marriages tend to last the longest. And they actually tend to be quite successful. But a lot of people actually don't like marry for love, as B. Julia mentioned earlier. Like, initially marriage was just to combine 2 like assets of families, essentially. Like this family has these kinds of assets and money. We're combining it with that, and like it still happens to this day. Don't get me wrong, but like we tend to put love into the mix more so than, at least like I'd say like in the Western civilization, Western world rather, than it was prior. However, because we're starting with love and like lust and adoration, like it's not really like a stable block to build off of. Like we see how fickle relationships can be. We see how fickle like just like affairs and just things can be. Like, you could be like sexually attracted to someone and not necessarily like romantically attracted to them. So like build off of that is quite difficult because you don't like speaking of like in terms of like love at first sight, you don't know the person as Ron mentioned. The person could be a serial killer, the person could just not have a sense of humor whatsoever, and you're like, well, I'm really trying to build a relationship with this person, or the person could just be unmotivated to do anything, and then you have a fucking lug of a person who has good dick or something. Like, so you can't really like build off of that. I feel like at the end of the day, though, there's no like manual to this. Like your partner is your manual, essentially. Like, you have to communicate with them and be willing to compromise with whatever it is that it is, because like you don't want to completely change yourself, because then unfortunately your partner may take advantage of that and not even realize that that's the dynamic of the relationship, and you guys are just in that, and then you lose yourself. Or you could like, or vice versa, like you be the stubborn one, and then your partner is changing for every single one of your whims, and you're not even realizing that, or you are, and you're taking advantage of that. So I saw it earlier, like somebody said you can't put 50-50, relationships aren't 50-50, it's 100-100.
Yeah.
That's like I tell that to, like, I say that quote all the time. I tell that to my friends all the time, because it's true. Like, like you can't just put half of yourself like into a relationship, like when you think about it, because like let's say you did. Like how I see the 100-100 part is like you put 50% into like your partner, but like you put 50% into like yourself for the relationship, because it's like even working on yourself, like, of course, don't fully just go by this math, especially like you, Toby and Mish, because you guys are very math, but like you have to work on yourself as well, because like that helps build a relationship too. Like you can't just look to your significant other as your primary source of happiness, because that's like subject to just subject to fail. And that is really something that I see a lot with men, especially like on dating apps, where like they don't feel like they can really just be themselves until like they're with a woman, and then now they can feel comfortable going apple picking or something. Like if you want to go apple picking, just do that. Or, as a stupid example, like sometimes men don't feel like they can truly be their 100%, their true selves, and do what they want to do because of how it may be perceived by, especially by other men. It's like, hey, I want to get into fashion photography. Guys may be like, that's gay, or like what the like they may have that thing, and then you just don't want to do fashion photography anymore, even though that could just be your true passion, and you just have a love for it for yourself, or even if it's like doing ballet or cheerleading or dancing, anything like effeminate, or like mostly pertain to like women or gay men. So I guess long story short, as long as you're willing to work with your partner on themselves, and you are willing to work on yourself, that's what makes up the relationship. Like, because it's like, it's almost like no matter where you go, you're still part of this relationship. So even if you go to a different state, and you still gotta kind of like represent, like by yourself, you still have to like represent your spouse in some kind of way, not just like not cheating, but also like eating well, if you're trying to like lose weight, or you're trying to get fit, for whatever reason, if for like whether it's like to have kids and be healthy for the kids, or just to last longer in bed, whatever. But like, if you still have to take care of yourself, even when you're not physically there, if that makes sense. But definitely like 100 when it comes to a relationship, because you guys are both working on this, and you yourself are part of the relationship, so therefore you should work on yourself as well.
And that reminds me too, like I hear usually like this kind of analogy where it's like, I didn't I didn't find my better half, like I was already complete beforehand. Like you kind of see that type of thing where it's like I was already whole, but I still like to have like someone to kind of compliment you. And so in this case it's like, yeah, like we have whole selves and all those whole selves should be brought in. It's not like we're just like giving half our effort, or like we're doing some kind of weird comment. Like I'm just giving half of my soul, 50% of my soul combined with someone else, or like we're doing some weird Dragon Ball Z combination with half. Like it's like, no, like you have your entire self. And I do think that's like really important. So yes. Oh my god, that's a conversation I someone literally anyways, like I
Just, I feel like Chad is the most on demon time than all of us.
That's because Chad, he knows what time it is.
Exactly.
He knows what time it is.
No, that's true. We did say demon time. No, I told you not to apologize.
Yes,
yeah.
we're not apologizing. No.
You're like, you're doing the right thing in the situation.
Yes.
Especially.
Yes. According to that title up here, that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. I guess on YouTube it would be on the bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
It's practically inevitable.
No. With arranged marriage, your parents on both sides choose your partner with level heads and who know you best and have been married. Have been having a marriage for 30 years. I guess so. I guess like, I mean, like if my mom had to pick a partner for me though, I would not like that partner.
I agree.
Yeah, because I think she would just want me to be with, like, I don't. It's like, does she know me? I guess, but she likes the person she wants me to be more, like. So she'd probably pick someone who's like hella Christian, wants to have like a ton of kids, like is Jamaican, which is nothing wrong with it. Not like there's anything wrong with it. See the Seinfeld episode. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Like I would totally be with a Jamaican man, but like, just be like so specific. So I'm like, nah. I want to go to church every Sunday. I'm like, oh, God. Yeah, he would just be like so Jamaican too. Oh my goodness.
And so is this sorry, the context of this, are you talking about a real person that, or like a someone that was the ideal type that was told to you when you were younger, or what exactly?
Like where did this come from?
Yeah, I think I was just at the beginning of what you were saying, because I was hearing all these traits and all these things, and I was like, wait, is this a real person or what? That's not true.
Thank you.
Point taken.
No, it's just like from knowing my mom and like how she is, especially when it comes to like, like just who she is, and that. It's not like she's always just like, oh, you should date a Jamaican. She never really says that. But just knowing her, like if she could just like pick any man out of the world, like it would probably just be like a Jamaican man who is just really Jamaican and really Christian, and yeah, I would probably want kids. and I feel like that would be it. Like it would like I'm trying to think like I guess like has a job, makes good money, you know. But yeah, so that just knowing her, like nothing from like what she said like growing up particularly. She didn't really. That's a good question. What has my mom really like said? Has your mom said anything, Toby, in terms of like who you should date?
This is funny because I think it was my first year in college. Like at the end of it, I had like I did an internship and I stayed with a high school friend, a college friend, for a few weeks. Like his family, like I was able to meet. This is a crazy story, but the point is, I was with that family. They were Black. This was like an HBCU too, like where the town that I was doing my internship in, or the university I was doing my internship at, and the mom happened to work at the university as an administrator. So I was talking to her like when I was living with the family for the last few weeks, and I don't know, like they asked about like dating basically outside your race, and what did your parents say about it? I was like, oh, we've never had that conversation. So I did go back and ask my parents, and I was like 18 years old, so I'm like still pretty young. The conversation was chill. My dad said some things I don't remember. My mom literally had to say like, okay, but you're not answering this question. So then she turned to me. She turned to me and was like, she was basically like, she's fine with anything, but as long as they're a child of God, that's the most important.
Right.
So that's basically what she said. Now, from what I've heard from my sisters, that's like only so true that my parents apparently do care. Maybe my mom in particular, because the way and this is something that I thought of earlier in the stream, but where I think B. Julia said something about like stable people, like people meet each other when they're young and they stay together, leaving the dating pool less for us. And that reminded me of this conversation where my sister, I think my oldest sister, was saying how I guess like when Black men go ahead for white women, I guess technically it could be anyone else, but it seems like white women are the one where it stings the most, right? You are taking like these good Black men out of the dating pool for Black women who already have, I guess, less options. And I mean, there's stereotypes, there's things. I don't know. I don't want to feed into too much anti-Blackness, but I guess the idea is there's not a lot of solid Black men for Black women. And so, especially as you get older. So then you're like going for these other races. And then it's like, well, now you took yourself out of the pool, and now who Black women have? I mean, of course, Black women could have anyone. There's the whole rainbow available. Like, we all Skittles out here. So you could taste the entire spectrum. Spectrum internet.
Spectrum internet? No.
Oh my God. I never thought of this joke. I like my woman like I like my internet. All across the spectrum. I had Spectrum. They're part of Time Warner Cable, and like I had when I was in school in upstate New York. I never heard of them before, but Time Warner Cable I heard of because Time Warner is a bigger media company. But any case, like crap. Oh yeah, what my sister was saying about like good men being taken out of the pool. I guess I mean, I don't know. Like, women can date anyone they want. Obviously, Black women, there's all types of interracial relationships. But I guess that was like, I've never talked to my parents about it since then. That was like 2013 when I asked them. But, and we don't talk about dating explicitly. I feel like it's a weird conversation just because of the dynamics in my family. I don't know. It's just different. But I suspect, based on what my sister said, that if it was anyone but a white woman, that would probably be okay. And I mean, obviously, if I come up with a white person, what are they really going to say? But there's like a whole like dynamic with that as well. Like, oh, we went for a white girl. Oh, you couldn't find a Black girl. You couldn't find anyone else. What was the joke? I saw the one joke that was like, just know that if I end up with a white person, I tried my best with you coloreds. It was so funny. I saw it.
What joke was that?
It was like a viral. It was like a. I'll find it and post it in the Discord.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's obviously it was meant to be provocative, but like I feel like it was something I saw posted by like a Black woman friend, but like it was just one of those things where like someone just like posted just to be like just to start something. And like that's kind of the idea. It's like, oh well, I mean, anyone who you fall in love with is who you fall in love with. But I know that there are certain like conceptions about interracial relationships and marriages, especially in the context of like, I don't know. There's a whole lot going on, and I don't want to really get into that whole like, not like I mean on the stream, but in general, like in life, I don't want to get into all that dynamic. So first of all, love Black women, love like, you know, I'm naturally around a lot of especially immigrant populations, so that's kind of naturally who I probably would be like talking to. But also, path of least resistance. It's probably going to be a lot easier if the person is my background. Now I know LB kind of talked about this. I think during during February, one of those streams with like love, we kind of talked about, I think, the idea that if you do date outside of your race, there's a bit of less pressure in some ways because you don't have to conform to some idea of what does it mean to be a Black or Jamaican or Nigerian person. You kind of just get to be yourself. Not that you can't be yourself with someone of the same race, but like sometimes you have an extra pressure to be a certain way versus someone who's completely outside of your culture and community. You just kind of really talk to them as they are. People can disagree with that, of course, but I could see the argument on both sides. Sorry, that was like a bit of a tangent to your question, but
no, it was good. And like you do have like a good point about like when you date someone of like your same race, you tend to kind of like, what did you say? Like put on a, you said, what did you say?
You have to like, I think, build like maybe, I think this is some of their expectations, or you have to like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Some expectation, maybe not them explicitly, but societally.
No, I get that. I for real get that. Like it seems like you kind of do have to be like a little bit pickier because you sort of like, I don't know. For me, it's like you can always like kind of recognize the bullshit easier within your own race, and so it's like when you date outside your race, it's sort of just like it's like, oh, this is totally different, but it's just because you don't really know the obvious red flags. It's like I feel like it's like I always think it's kind of like dating a vacation, and like it's like South Florida seems great when you are on vacation, but when you move here, it's a totally different story. Yeah, you're not gonna just like same thing with Jamaica, like yeah, it's great for a vacation, but it's still a third world country. So like,
I see.
Yeah, so like be mindful. Like sounds like it's one of those things. Like it sounds like a good idea at first, but like I feel like when you date within your race, it's like dating home, and it's so like you recognize things and things like that. But it's sort of like, you can't just let anybody into your home,
True.
Like so you just have to like be like it's a sad, stupid bias, but it's. I mean, I don't know. Like both are difficult as shit. So like, this is difficult for like different reasons. But yeah, I don't know if we've answered Rocky's question. Like, is it a bad thing to settle for a particular relationship?
Like, I guess when it comes to settling, is it like you're like inherently not happy, or you're like having to like lower your standards? Because if it's more so that you had certain maybe ideals and you found someone that you like, but you're like, well, they don't meet everything, but I might settle. I feel like that might be inevitable. I mean, yes, you have these perfect sort of ideals. You have like an optimization thing in your head, but are you gonna ever meet someone exactly like that? So I feel like in general, you might just settle by nature of like, are you gonna? I don't think you can really match the exact idea you have in your head. Now, if you're fundamentally like sacrificing things that are important to you, I would say that's probably not great. It can lead to like problems later.
Mm.
And in fact, like I encourage, like especially for women, and they feel like they have to settle or they have to like take away, like they have to give up certain things. I was like, no, like I mean, as long as it's not like, I mean, maybe it's like for security. That's why you're settling. If it's for like there's certain reasons why it would be easier. Maybe you're doing it like being in some kind of stable relationship or marriage. Maybe it'll let you pursue some goals. Okay, sure. But if you feel like you're giving up a lot and you just kind of are settling because you're afraid that you'll never find someone, I would say like no, like keep doing what you want to do. Don't settle. But I mean, it depends on the context, I would say. I won't say it's inherently bad. I just say that like ideally if you don't have to and if you feel like you have to, then that's probably like a sign of something wrong. Um versus like if it's fully your choice, like what, I could, live with this and you have your good reasons and you feel happy and content with it, then sure. Nothing wrong with being comfortable and everything. Um This is my quick take on it.
Right.
No,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, L.
No. Yeah, go, Ron.
Okay, I'll take a stab at it, and I'm on the same thinking lines with Toby, where it's like, um, it's not all that bad, but at the same time, understanding that as long as there's some kind of communication going on, as long as there's some kind of dialogue that's happening to understand where each person is coming from respectively, then the case for settling actually goes out the window because now it's like, okay, you may not be everything that I want, but at the same time, because you help me, because somebody said this too, but because you help me become a better person or a better version of me, I will accept that and I will take that and run with it because if I get everything that I want out of a potential spouse, but rather than build me up, they tear me down at every point in time.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good for me. That's not going to be healthy. That's not going to be healthy for a relationship. Instead, I would rather not get everything that I want, but have somebody that's at least going to help me to become better. And even then, just walking in that relationship, I actually find out that, in all honesty, everything that I was looking for was actually found in this person that's actually building me up to be a better version of myself. So there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot that goes on. There's a lot that's in play, and there's a lot of perspectives that need to be viewed. And so, if you're just settling because of you think that there's no good person out there for you, whatever, or if because this is the only person that actually gave you the time of day, or the only person that actually, I wouldn't necessarily say tried, but just like, made the attempt to do whatever. He's like, you know what, I'm just going to settle because out of all the people that I talked to, this is the only person that actually paid me some mind. It's like, okay, you're going to have to live with that decision until you find a way to kind of like, you know what, this is not working, So there we go.
That's it. Just in passion. You compromise. It's not so.
Agreed. Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree. Because if you can't compromise, you obviously really don't want to be in a relationship. Like point blank. If you're not willing to compromise, if you're not willing to be like, okay, I'm willing to give this up for you, and if the other person's like, okay, I receive what you're doing, and I'm going to give this up for you, then let's try to make this thing work. Go for it, you know. And even then, sometimes compromising it could be a simple thing, and sometimes compromising it might be a big thing. But at the same time, you never know unless you actually have that conversation and be open, honest, and upfront with it. You know, no sugarcoating, just be raw. And if the person can't handle it, then they should be able to say, I can't handle that. You know, I may not be able to make that big jump or do this or do that. That's still okay because at least they're letting you know that they're not in the position to do that. And it may never be like right now. Maybe they got some other stuff they need to work on their own in order for them to build up to that point. And again, that's still fine. That's still fine. You know, it's just understanding where they're coming from and at least be there to walk them through as they're walking through with you. Yeah.
Good points too. That was kind of my thing too, is that like you're content, you're happy with it. Like even if you kind of felt like maybe this wasn't the time that you expected to be in a relationship or you expected to whatever, it's not necessarily settling. That the mindset is that you were like in it 100%, you know, and
Right.
that you're going with it. You don't feel like you're coerced. You don't feel like, you know, you don't have that kind of like feeling like you're miserable or resenting that you're in this and that you could have been elsewhere. Like it does have to be a conscious decision, right? Because I mean that's a real thing too, is like you don't want to kind of you know, you get to those points where you blame someone because you could have been further in life or in a different place, but like this is what you want, you're settling, but like this is what you want, like that's really the important thing, and then your mindset is there.
Sure. Yeah. I guess because like since the settle has such like a negative like connotation to it, it just feels like almost like you're losing or there's something better. And you know, sometimes sorry, non-demon talk. Sometimes like settling, I think we should also just be comfortable with that, you know, like because like granted, I didn't want to live in my home for as long as I have been living in it. But like, you know, I've definitely like kind of just grown comfortable and I'm just like, do I want to live here for the rest of my life? No, but I don't feel as like supercharged to just like up and move like I did, you know, a couple years ago. Like if the opportunity were to arise, you know, and I were to that's funny. If the opportunity were to arise, like would I move somewhere? Like if yeah, well, it'll just have to depend on where that is. You know, like if it's one of the areas that I, you know, cities that I would love to move, and you know, if it was like and if I would be in like a living situation that I would like if I could actually like walk places and not have to rely on a car all the time, then yeah. However, as of right now, like for the most part, I'm fine, you know. So like it's not, you know, like well, this is just me where I live, you know. It's not like regarding like a person. Like settling it isn't always like too bad. It's like what I'm saying. It's like sometimes it's just it's also like a sense of peace because you're sort of like in a way given up a battle or just like or ended a battle rather that you kind of were fighting with yourself. You're like, you know, let me just make peace with this. what am I fighting? Like real talk, what am I fighting?
Mm-hmm.
Ocean works. You know, like my mom, oddly enough, wanted me to like create some sort of like love advice thing, and I was like, Mom, I don't know shit. What are you talking about? I mean, I still don't. It's just I don't know. I have a good understanding of like life and relationships and people, but I don't know. I just know that, yeah, like well, I guess like what I was just saying, like the mental battle that you were just having with yourself about settling. It's like, you know, it's like, yeah, you could just end that battle. Like, what are you really fighting? Is it that necessary? It's like, no. It's like just you could just end the battle now. And there's a sense of peace to that. That we're too afraid to like, I guess, like we're not privy to, you know.
Change the story. Yeah. Be humble.
Kendrick Lamar.
Exactly. That's true.
Speaking of, I didn't know where this came from. That apparently just like dropped an album. I only knew because people on Instagram were posting screenshots, and I was like, "What the heck? When did this happen?" So,
oh yeah,
very recent.
Eventually,
I haven't listened to it yet.
It's good. I haven't listened to a lot of his music, but I was at a listening party online.
Oh, okay.
And oh man, it's probably about as real of an album anybody can make.
Okay.
Like it is definitely real. Like there was one song where him and this girl they're arguing, and you could feel the argument. You could almost feel as though that you're there in the argument, and like you hear from both perspectives, from both perspectives, and it's like at the end of the day they made up, but at the same time I was like, dang, that was raw. That was raw. That was real. Like, okay, Kendrick, like you are taking this album to a whole nother level. And probably there won't be another album that can compare to where he's at. And it's like that's what's needed. It's what's needed. It's definitely what's needed. So for anybody that's a Kendrick Lamar fan, I think you will not be disappointed with his album. You should not be disappointed. And anybody who's not a Kendrick Lamar fan, but they're just wanting to find like some really good solid music, yeah, that album, oh yeah, I'll give it a head nod. Like yes.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, sheesh. That man put in some thought into that album.
Okay.
He put in some, yeah.
Like I've been just like slacking when it comes to music. I guess I was never like a really big like music person per se, but you know, like he is someone that I really like. Like I like Kendrick Lamar a lot.
Yeah.
Like where can I look? Is it like on Spotify?
Let's see. What's today? Tuesday. I think I heard his listening party, or went to his listening party. I almost want to say Friday, Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
I almost want to say Friday. I almost want to say Friday.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, what did you? I'll bring it again.
Yeah, a matter of fact, hey, this is the new Trey songs right here. Bam, Toby.
Hey,
Toby, Toby movies. Toby movies.
this right here is a panty dropper.
Yeah, the Pulitzer Prize. Mm.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you that like a friend I went to college with was in one of his music videos, Trey songs?
Really?
I don't think so.
Yeah. It was Foreign. That's the name of the song.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's not like we were like, yeah, like like she's actually like a really cool chick too. Like she's actually like really down to earth. Um, yeah, I was like, oh, that's like when I heard that she was like in the music video, I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Shout out to Elle's friend in Trey Songz music video.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Speaking of music, at some point,
Yeah, the music episode.
we're gonna go in a whole month on music eventually. I mean, music is so broad, but whatever. Come into summer near you, maybe fall. We'll see.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
Which, speaking of, what were you about to say something wrong?
Oh, stop it! Stop it!
That friend too.
I love it. I love it.
That is so great. Oh my goodness, it was right there this whole time. That was great. Oh man.
It's okay, Toby. When we get to the music, we'll let you know where that reference came from. It's okay.
All right. There's like kind of like with comedians. I need to do like a cram session of some music related things.
Yeah, same.
There's a lot of things. I think like even the TV movie episodes we did, I was like, all right, black movies, black shows for the culture. Let's go. I just have to find the time to binge and do the binge, either by myself or with someone who makes me food. At this point, who knows? It's a coin toss. Dinner and a movie. I love it though. What I was just gonna say briefly was that as we mentioned, of course, May and why everything's been so focused on y'all. So when we started our stream, it's been almost 2 years. It's crazy how quickly that's come up. Sometimes it feels like it's been longer, honestly. So yeah, keep it coming. We have 2 more weeks because May is a little bit longer in terms of like Tuesdays. We have 5 Tuesdays, which is great. So we have 2 more streams. So keep it coming in the chat or the Discord so we can actually refer to it later. Post in the Discord topics you want to see. And we have some special things planned for the end of the month. And we will continue to workshop things. But we want to give you all a voice. So that's what I'll say about that. And we want to hear topics because you're gonna learn today. Oh no, I definitely see that was like the one. I don't remember if I saw all of it, but I saw so much of Kevin Hart's Laugh at My Pain, and I was like, "Yo, this is good." Like, I wouldn't say he's like my favorite comedian or whatever, but I was like, "Okay, I'm with this." Like, it just also kind of felt good because I normally wouldn't like listen to things like that. I felt like, but I was just like, "Nah, this is actually funny." Like, and very quotable. Julia beating us to it. I guess not really beating us to it, considering this did come up in the stream like a few months ago. Or yeah.
Well, I mean, No, you're good. No, you're good. Basically, to Julia's point, what we wanted to do, or at least what we would like to do, is have a few of our family members. I'm gonna put it like that. Come on in and chit chat. We've had Gil, we've had him on, and do we have anybody else on that I could think of besides Gil?
Not this month.
No.
No.
Yeah.
But again, the whole month, that's what we were focusing on, is not only just the topics, but at the same time, get it as many of you guys who are watching on the show, and just kick back, relax, and just vibe out. We got space for like 7 people.
Oh,
I think we
7.
got space for. I think it's like 10. If I remember that my math correctly, I
Of
may be
course.
wrong.
Plus, okay,
But of
7.
course,
Well, I got you.
we got us 3, and then we got spots open for like 7 more people. And so, if you would like to join us on any other Tuesday, these last 2 Tuesdays, please let us know. Please let us know. Reach out to us. If you are on Discord, reach out to us via Discord. If you're not on Discord, or let's say you're on Twitter, reach out to us on Twitter. We're on Twitter too. And so let us know what Tuesday you can make it on. We'll make sure we get you the links, you get plugged in, and just come out and hang out and laugh and joke. And Julia, if you show up, don't worry about trying to type in and your stuff gets delayed. No, we're gonna hear you in real time. And we're gonna see you in real we're gonna see you in real time too.
Yes.
Yes,
I love
get
it.
excited. Love
Yes.
that energy. Feel it through
Yes.
the chat.
Yes, and again, like Toby said, we've been on this channel for like 2 years. We've had some ups, we had some downs, but we still managed to come through. And because of the fact that it's been 2 years with you guys rocking with us and us rocking with you guys, it's like what other better way than to give back to our supporters by having them on, and just come out and check us out, see what we do in real time. Elle, you got anything to add?
No, I think you just about said it. Just make sure that if you want to come on, definitely suggest a topic for us so we can all talk about, something that you really want to talk about, or it could just been something that just popped up recently that you want to talk about, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is, yeah. Let us know.
Oh, don't you, Chad? Don't you dare! No, don't you dare twiddle your thumbs. Nope. Don't you dare!
You got all this energy in the chat, so you better come.
Right? Yeah.
Bring that same energy. Bring that same
Bring
energy.
that energy here, boy.
Exactly.
Bring that over here.
We're all for it. We're all for the love and for the games.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. We'll continue this on Discord.
Agreed.
Unfortunately,
Definitely
the time is speaking to us. Like
Yeah.
my brain is here. My body is disagreeing a little bit.
Like my brain is like in bed right now.
Your brain's in bed.
Yes.
My brain, I think, is half in bed, but we hit 3 hours. That's amazing. I mean, it's not the first time we've done it, but it's not always an occurrence. So that's an hour for each of us.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. But it doesn't have to totally end. You'll be able to chat with us on Discord. We can chat on Discord, and we'll see you all next week.
Alrighty, not you sleep, Blake. Not you sleep, Blake.
I love it. I love it. People be here in the background, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, you're still here with us." Oh man. Blake fell asleep on the keyboard and just typed out some Z's. And thank
Yeah,
you,
there
because
you go.
y'all are soldiers too. You're here. You're still here with us.
Yeah.
Y'all could be anywhere else on any other YouTube, any other channel, doing anything on a Tuesday night. Yeah, here we are.
Yes. And we love y'all for it.
Seriously.
Yes. Seriously.
With that,
Well, we gotta go.
yeah, we have to go.
We
Good
gotta
night,
go.
everybody.
All right. Good night. Toby, can you take us out?
I know, right? All right. Thanks for watching. We got that. Boom. Oh my God. This
Yeah,
thing is
fun.